Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
No! She's not supposed to be talking about...
I have no idea what's going on, Dre, but it's fun.
Talk about that!
He's having a breakdown. Somebody call Johnny Cochran. Oh, you will taste and see that I am delicioso.
You gotta watch it. You gotta hit the like button.
We've got to get it up for him, guys. Come on. Everyone who's watching this
Don't say
video
it
needs
like
to
that.
go over
Don't
there,
say it like that.
And share the video. We gotta keep going.
Don't they have to get it up for me? Don't say it like that. God damn it.
Yo, you let it don't hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
Oh, these two girls when you kiss, they're gonna be hot. Oh, yo, you know Elizabeth Hurley's gonna get butt naked in this.
I will twerk on her on the bed. I ain't gonna do it in the middle of the dance floor.
That's what I'm. Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
Why? My brain didn't need that. I'd already seen too many pictures of Shooty-Gatwa today.
What?
Well, there's an image in my mind.
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh,
so, Jesus. I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
I'm retarded.
I dangled for too long there. That wasn't fun.
This is why I do crystal meth. This week I binged Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos.
And you binged it right out of
week and you forgot it.
You consumed it and you binged it right out, huh?
Yep, and I definitely took a nice good country dump and it came right out along with it. Two things. No, one thing is guaranteed to happen, Adam. I'm going to get naked. Either way, either from celebration or depression, I'm getting naked in some way, shape, or form. It's happening. Period. Not up for debate. It's happening.
I've been told by lore people for this stuff for House of the Dragon for the books. Yeah, Rhaenyra, she was into dining at the Clam Slam. She was into that.
Clam Slam.
She slammed clams. She dined at the oyster bar. She was all into that.
Bella Downsy fingered Dora the Explorer on HBO.
There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
Ooh, so exciting.
There was high top fade, Dre. There's been so many over the years. Cornrows, all of them.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul go, baby. Feeling oh so silky smooth.
Listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The only reason the world hasn't probably imploded is because of porn. Because you take away the porn, World War IV happens. We're going to skip over World War III. We're going right to World War IV. All right? We need release. We need relaxation. We need things. Whatever scratches your itch, whatever gets you going, whatever gets a rise out of you. As long as you keep it to yourself and you're not hurting anybody else, especially kids, more power to. I don't care if you're a goddamn furry. I just want to see it. But people need their release to stay calm, to stay relaxed. All right? You take that away, enjoy an actual revolution where people of all sides don't agree on anything, will come together and say, no, I'm not living under this world where I can't touch myself. All right? No, this is the reality we live in. It's just there. And as long as nobody's getting hurt, everybody's having a good time. Just because you are either a frigid or an erectile dysfunctional is not a problem that I care about. All right? You know what? There is a single reason why I wouldn't want to become a merman. I wouldn't have my penis anymore. And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the round table where we're just good, normal, clean people around here. We don't ever say anything weird or disturbing at all. Happy that everybody seems to have survived July 4th with all their digits attached. Everybody's safe and having a good time. And we are here at the round table where we are episode 180 today. 180. 20 more. 200. Wow. That's I've lasted that long. Okay. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm not all here yet. I'm doing my best I can. We were up late last night playing video games, and we were supposed to have a guest, but I think he's still asleep because he hasn't even checked his DMs for the link. So, so much for my planning. All right.
The boys tuckered him out last night.
He played on his own. He played by himself. He didn't play with us. He played all on his own. Playing Red Dead 2, playing poker, and doing God knows what in the old life.
Poker in Red Dead is surprisingly fun, though. I can give him that.
Yeah, but that's what he did. Yeah, he's not here yet. Jeremy's supposed to be our guest today. And he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And then we were all up till way too late. He went to bed before I did, too. He went to bed at least 2 hours before I did. Because I was up for another 1 to 2 hours, at least after he tapped out. So, anyway, hi, Dad. You're rested. You're fine, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fairly rested. Went to bed early. Woke up at 12:30. So I recovered from the week. Saturday night is usually when I recover from the weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 12:30 might have been a little too late to sleep in, but it's one of those days. You got to do it sometimes, man. But yeah, it's great to be here. I'm excited to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth because I have thoughts on it that are apparently controversial and world-ending. So we'll see how that conversation fares when we get to it, but it's always great to be here talking about box office and Doctor Who. A little Doctor Who thrown in there. It's not dead yet, so it's still relevant for the next few days. Well, I just mean relevant enough to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the articles and the post we're going to go over that I discovered at the last minute. No, it's all signs that it was always dead because of, if this is the truth, wow, they had nothing. They had nothing. So, all right, Dragon Lady, hi, welcome back. How are you?
All right, so it's good to be back, recovering from Jurassic World from last night, which I quite enjoyed. A couple of bits I wasn't crazy about, but other than that, it's pretty decent, I think.
Oh, from what I'm hearing from people who are not steeped in being angry at everything, or it's not terrible. This is the term I'm going to put to it, and we'll discuss it more. Harmless slop.
Yeah, there were a lot of people yesterday cheering at the end credits after when it finished. We were all cheering and clapping away. Not Minecraft style, obviously, but we were all clapping and cheering because there was obviously a lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, to be honest. As long as people are enjoying it,
and that's kind of, and we'll get into it more. That I feel like it's a bit of a problem as we depart this everything is woke phase of entertainment as it recedes and goes and hides, and will probably go into a chrysalis and emerge as something else next decade. There are certain ideas and feelings that are locked in terms of how people are going to react to stuff. I mean, a lot of people preach objectivity and don't actually have it anymore. Both Jed and I routinely try to keep our objectivity on stuff. Every week when we review a movie, we try to be objective, even when our subjective is telling us, I love the hell out of this, but there has to be problems. Just like last night, while The Patriot is a good movie, it still has problems, and people lord it and praise it. I get called a red coat by Fatty, who isn't here, by simply giving legitimate criticism. I still gave it an 8 out of 10. It's still a good movie.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Anyway, so hail and howdy to the chat. We're happy to have you all here. Hail both Lagadas and a good Sir Algam the Strong, my mods. One is a bot, one is a real man. You guys know how it breaks down. Going down the list, see who else is here. Hail Frank Blaskowitz, well, my friend. Hail Ruben X. Ruben X says, hail all to the black people. Yeah, well, Dre's not here, but Jed counts as black now, so it's fine.
Yep, I'll fill the quota for right now.
Yes, and Dre's not here because Dre is on paternity leave. He's on paternity leave, being a good new dad, and that is awesome. Hail Static, and no, I'm not a traitor. Not a traitor. Not a traitor at all. Not a traitor at all. Hail, Tara. Hi, man. Hi, man. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I think you're fresh to the chat. At least if you've been here. Haven't seen you before, but welcome. Everybody else coming in. Watch. Hail, Weasel. Weasel was there last night. He knows how disturbed things got at the end of the streams. Deport me. You can't deport me. I'm a legal citizen. I was born here from legal citizens. You can't deport me.
Send him back to Israel.
My flat feet would disqualify me from service. I can't serve. I've got very pancake flat feet. It wouldn't work. I'd be willing to serve, but I can't. I'm too old now anyway. I can't do it. Anyway, all right, guys. So hail and everybody. So we've got a fun show for you guys today. We've got a fun show. You know what? Let me do this before we get started. I should. It is July. Is this our first show? Yeah, this is our first show for July. So that means I've got a fresh batch of gifties to hand out for the month. So why don't we start today's stream with me handing out some gifties? And no, okay, it's muted. Good. We're not going to hear me talking over me. Where is it? Oh, it takes a second to load. Here we go. Support, membership gifting, send 5. There you go, guys. There's 5 free gifties from me to you that gets you access to my membership section, which essentially gives you access to all my old video game playthroughs for the past several years, dozens of hours worth of entertainment. You want to put on and chill and relax, something to have on in the background if you're doing something else. Watch me rage, watch me cheer, watch all of you make fun of me at various times. It's a lot of fun. So here you go, gifties and all the other stuff that goes getting membership. One day we're going to have more to do with the memberships, but for now, that is all I can provide to you. So thank you guys for joining. And let's get on with the show. So I'm very happy with today's show. I'm happy with today's show because it begins July's Rumble at the box office. The Rumble, the 3-way match, because no other movie matters except for these 3. Jurassic World Rebirth, James Gunn's Superman, and Fantastic Four Baby Steps. We are now here. We have started. Jurassic World Rebirth premiered on Wednesday. And Jay, you can agree with me on this, the very wise positioning of the July 4th holiday weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, in a perfect world, Superman, if it had the whole American way stuff, would slot better into that position because of the patriotic connotations that could build off of each other there. But yeah, with Jurassic Park, it's a dumb, fun action movie. People want over-the-top fun on 4th of July. They just want to go, yeah! And this movie has enough of that for a lot of people. So yeah, it's a great release date for them, getting a few in the few days before the normal Friday, Thursday release. And they're making a fair amount of money. Second biggest opening of the year so far. Not a whole lot of competition for that, but it's doing very well with its release date.
And we're going to talk about competition because we are on the verge of Superman week. Listen, I didn't go see Jurassic World Rebirth. Jed has seen it. Dragon Lady has seen it. If Jeremy shows up, he's seen it. I left it to you guys. I will simply moderate the discussion on that. But I am finally excited to get to Superman this week because we will have the questions finally answered that we have been posing. Does James Gunn get Superman? I have made my case over and over again that he does not. And this week we will find out. And with its very strange release schedule, the basically July 9th and 10th special screenings for Amazon Prime people. I think that's how it went. It's very strange. Jurassic World.
Got to show your Prime membership to get in?
I don't know. That's how the people got their into it. I don't know. I don't have Prime. I just get paid. Well, they used to be $25. Now it's $35. I just make sure I cross the threshold and get free shipping when I buy stuff. But what happens though is Superman is going to come out 2 days before its general release on Thursday, Friday. Problem is, it's special. So it's not really the box office numbers coming in. It's people who are getting free viewings because of Amazon Prime. And it's going to leak real fast. It's by Wednesday morning. It's going to be out
moronic.
There.
It's a moronic release plan for them.
Yes, which kind of leads us back to our entire discussion of all things James Gunn's Superman. It's been a very strange and stupid marketing campaign from top to bottom. We are now days away, and even at the very last minute, I have a final. James Gunn did a final interview, and I have a quote I'm going to tack on to our discussion on it. At the very end, he says stuff that contradicts the evidence we have at hand because James Gunn is a liar. He is a liar, a proven liar. So we're going to talk that because we're geared up for that. I'm going to get my review out next week. I'm excited for it. And then at the same time, if Jeremy shows up, well, even if he doesn't show up, we're still going to talk about it because I want everybody's opinion. We're going to talk a little Ironheart. None of us watched it. Jeremy's the only one that watched it, which is why I asked him to be here. But my focus is, of course, as usual, in the post-euphoric completion of these MCU TV shows. I know. The stands, they are existing in their world, and then there's reality. So I have a whole list. You guys saw a little bit of it on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday on Daily Dive, where I looked at a few. I've collected more in the following days of how the stands are reacting to the end of Ironheart and people who do not like Ironheart. It's got a lot of the familiar things you're going to be used to.
There's so many cringe groups going on the internet right now. Pro Ironheart people, pro James Gunn people, pro Zack Snyder people. We just need to stop getting divided into these stupid fucking camps.
Yeah.
There's artificial lines being drawn in the sand.
That's the thing. You're not wrong in the sense that part of the thing around Superman is you got the James Gunn people versus the Snyder Bros, and it's retarded on all sides. And there are some things, as Jed has pointed out to me in other conversations, don't make me take up a flag of supporting Snyder Bros. Don't do this, because we are not Snyder Bros on this show.
Oh, God, no.
We do not support the Snyderverse. I like moments in the Snyderverse. I can say that objectively.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's good with occasional visual. Yeah. Like, if you don't think about the script at all, there's some 10-second moments where, like, you know what? That looks like Batman using his grappling hook. Good job.
Or Wonder Woman just arriving on the scene in the fight against Downsy Doomsday. I mean, it is Downsy Doomsday. I'm not wrong.
But yeah, Zack Snyder's great with individual moments of spectacle, but his films are entirely devoid of substance. People who read substance into it are just as cringe as the people saying that this James Gunn movie is going to be incredible just because, hey, I like Guardians and that means this is good.
And that's the problem with that. If you like Guardians, you're liking what James Gunn is good at, which is there's nothing wrong with that. James Gunn is good in his niche. When he steps out of his niche, which is what Superman will be, it's going to fall apart. Well, we're going to talk about that because we're not going to dwell on it, but it is our launch point. We're talking about that. A review accidentally got released on Daily Beast for about 5 minutes, but the internet saw it. And when last on the internet, once it's out there, it's there forever. Doesn't go away, just like people's movies. Then, of course, I think, is that everything? Actually, yeah, that's everything, isn't it?
Doctor Who.
Jurassic Park. Doctor. Yeah, thank you. Doctor Who. We mentioned it already. I did mention it already. My brain is struggling. Doctor Who. R.I.P. Doctor Who. It's dead. It's done. It's over. And we, as real fans, we recognize, we understand it. But we got a little bit more evidence that right up until the end of Shooty Who, good old Russell T. Davies really was flinging shit at the wall and hoping it would stick, having no plan. And then he's
did he ever have a plan
for this?
In
yes,
RTD2?
Yes, he did. I have an article to prove it.
Really?
I have an article to prove it that he did have a plan. He did have a plan. You say that, and I have the answer for you. So we'll talk some Doctor Who. Hopefully, Dermy will be here. He's fit for every single subject we have today. But he's not here because he's dead to the world, asleep. I'm gonna check DMs again. Has he seen it yet? No. I'm refreshing. No, he has not seen it. Why do I rely on him? Why? I mean, look at that. I went to bed later than he did, and I'm up here for this show that I host. Damn it, Dermy. God, in memory of Raster. God damn it, Dermy. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Dermy's not here. We can't wait. I have procrastinated as long as I can. Call him live from Twitter.
I've never actually done that.
I don't know. I don't have his number.
No, he's saying use the Twitter call feature, I think.
I don't think I have that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing an option for myself either, and I do have Twitter Blue.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works. I've never done it.
I don't have the blue check mark because I'm not special. So yeah. God damn it, Dermy. Anyway, yeah, listen.
God damn it, Dermy.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch. He's gonna show up and he's gonna have the greatest excuse in the world. He's gonna show. He's all right. I'm gonna make a poll. How late is Dermy gonna be today? All right, let's make a poll. Oh, come on. I can type here. How late will Dermy be to the show? Okay.
Static saying the call feature is available only on mobile.
I don't. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I do see it on mobile.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
He picks up.
He leaps into slurs.
Yeah. I'm worried about that. That's dangerous. All right, so we're already 20 minutes. It's from right now. 30 minutes from right now. 30 minutes. 1 hour. So 1 hour, and then we'll add. We'll get 1 hour and a half. 1 hour. 30 minutes. Okay, guys, go ahead and vote. How late will Dermy be to the show? See, we have fun around here. Anyway, all right, but we cannot wait anymore. I procrastinated as much as I can, giving as much as I can time to get in here. Box office, our Sunday privilege. Here we go. Let's go over everything that had one last few days to earn some money before dinosaurs came to town. Lilo and Stitch kvetches in with just another 3 million or so on their box office.
I called it after the second week. I said it wasn't going to make $1 billion. It was going to get damn close, but it wasn't going to cross that threshold.
Yeah, it needs another 28 million, and it's not going to get there. It is
not. They'd have to leave it in for another 2 months.
No, they're not going to, because then they wouldn't want to leave it. They'd be leaving it up against baby steps. So they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that. So it's
going to release huge on Disney Plus though.
Because
that's a big metric of success, as we've been told.
Yeah, it's gonna the only thing on their channel that's new. Literally, it's the only thing that will be new. Of course, it's gonna do well. That's retarded. So Lilo and Stitch, impressive run. We based on its budget and the initial backlash. Oh, production 100, they lowered it. What the hell?
Yeah, that's not true.
150. It was 150.
It was at least 150. Yeah,
it was 150.
It made a good amount of money, no matter what the budget being reported is. But I actually think this movie might get re-released in theaters because they're doing that with Snow White. I can see November, December time frame. No, this is my prediction. They've re-released Snow White a couple times now in small ways, so I can see them in November, December, family season with Christmas and whatnot, doing some special screenings for Lilo and Stitch just to get it to try to get over the edge.
It doesn't really count anymore.
It counted for Avengers Endgame because that's how Endgame at the time became the highest grossing film of all time.
It counts for overall metrics, but for our purposes of covering this stuff, we talk about the original release run.
Of course.
Anything after that, I mean, how many times did James Cameron release Titanic to try and up those numbers? So
movie's an abomination. The fact that it was so highly rated, like it's a fine movie, but it didn't deserve to be the highest grossing film of all time at the time.
If you don't have a girlfriend, that movie kills your soul because you get no reward for seeing it. You don't. You get no reward for seeing it. And I, as someone who did not get reward at a party,
Winslet's rack.
Nah,
they actually forced us to watch. They actually forced us to watch it at school because we were doing a project on the actual disaster, and we were made to watch the film. And I was bored out of my mind throughout the entire thing.
It's way too long.
The book strikes the iceberg. I go. Bit excited. Listen. Oh, this is exciting. And everything else is like, I'm just bored.
Everyone's gonna die.
I didn't see it in theaters because too young, but in high school, it was already out on VHS. And it was back when like they would release the double VHS for the super long movies.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
We watched it at a party. And I didn't have a girlfriend, so I got no reward. I just had to suffer through the 3+ hours of that monstrosity.
I absolutely sympathize. That's what happened to us in class because I think it was our teacher who brought it in, double VHS tape, and as I said, I was bored out of my mind. I was thinking.
And did he fast forward through the titties?
I think there were a few scenes they fast forwarded. I think that was probably one of them.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Point is, Jed is right. It is not out of practice to re-release movies to try and get them a little bit higher. But for our purposes, as I said, I only care about its original run. Right. It didn't hit $1 billion. I said it would hit $1 billion. I was wrong, but it came damn close. I thought it had enough gas in the tank, but it seems that little bit of backlash was enough to keep it from crossing $1 billion. But it did make the money. It's going to lose all that money in about 3 weeks, but that's Disney's problem that we will make fun of then. So good job, Lilo and Stitch. You earned your sequel. And the sequel, I look forward to that conversation simply because I want to see where they're going to go. Are they going to stick to the actual lore of the series, or are they going to venture off on their own into uncharted waters and without nostalgia to anchor people to go see it? Will that reach the heights that the first movie has reached here? That is something I'm looking forward to seeing in the next couple of years. All right, up next, How to Train Your Dragon. Our check-in on that is it essentially will also end its legitimate run after only 4 weeks because dinosaurs. No, this movie did what Lilo and Stitch couldn't. It stuck to the lore, but essentially it was just the original movie.
Which I do want to push back on that, not against you, but this whole thing that it's sticking to the lore, which is true to a certain extent. The plot follows relatively the same beat, but the beauty of the original How to Train Your Dragon film was the heart, the soul, the charm to it. This film, it might follow the same narrative beats, but it lost all that heart and charm. Every clip that you see, no soul. Every clip you see, they're saying the same lines from the animated film, but they're deadpanning it. So. Yeah, they superficially got the accuracy points, but just there's no point to it. There's no emotional resonance to this film like the original had. So I'm glad it's failing because of that, if nothing else. Yeah, it's great that it's sticking to the plot. That's best case scenario for a remake, even though they shouldn't exist.
Hang on.
But
good morning, sunshine.
Morning.
You went to bed before I did, and I still got here first.
Sun's getting real
I didn't
low.
go to bed until 5.
Yeah, okay, that's when I went to bed. Okay, so
5 my time, so that would have been 6 your time.
Okay, have a drink. You sound like you need a drink. Have a drink. There you go. Hydrate. How you doing, fella?
Well, you know what? I'm awake. I'm kicking myself in the ass because I was late.
It's all right. We made fun of you appropriately. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Well, you're just in time. You're just in time. We're heading. We're going through the previous box office stuff. So finishing up, How to Train Your Dragon. To quote Dre, I don't think it really justified its existence, but it's going to get the sequel. I mean, Dermy, you saw it.
Fucking sequel.
You saw it.
It's an okay movie. Like it. I was listening to Jed early. What he was saying, and yes, like it copies beat for beat, but it doesn't really have the exact same charm as the original. And Nico fucking Parker cannot act.
No.
Is that the hiccup actor?
No.
No.
That's the girl.
That's the
that's the girl?
Yeah, Astrid.
Yeah, fake Astrid. So 516, it's going to end up close. I said between, I believe, 550, 650 is where I said it would land in the end with my adjusted opinion. It's going to hit sort of in that range. I don't know if it's got another 25 million in it. Or 35 million.
It's still close. We always say within 50 million is kind of the thing with our predictions. And you've nailed both this and Lilo and Stitch within that margin of error.
So and good for it. But it's done. It's over. Because it look at the drop here. Essentially, it'll be in single digits, low single digits next week. And then
did it fall below 2 million on any days this last week? Nope,
2.9 is the lowest it went.
For the weekend.
No, 2.4. 2.4.
So this week we're going to see some 1 million days.
Yeah, so it's done. It's done. Just because we talked about it and people are enjoying it, even though it is going to cost a lot, F1 has been hailed as a creative success, and they're lying. I saw some lies. Somebody saying $200 million budget. No, $400
I saw that, yeah. No,
That's
I saw someone tweeting about, $200 million budget. It's already got more than that at the box office. That makes it one of the biggest successes in the box office for the last decade. I actually saw someone unironically saying that it was because it got it in 2 weeks. It was one of the biggest successes in the last decade. No,
listen. People like this movie. They're enjoying the hell out of it. But it will be a financial failure. Because
absolutely.
It costs $400 million to make. And
it's at least $1 billion to break even.
It's not going to break even. It's going to lose $400 million. It's going to, but it'll get a second movie. They're already planning a second one because I didn't know this at the time. Apple made this, so Apple doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, they like pouring money into failures.
They like pouring money into failures, and also I've heard. I think it might have even been Static that said it on Ballbusters that this movie is maybe a psyop to get people interested in America in Formula One racing more than they do.
That makes a lot of sense to me because, if Apple gets the streaming rights for Formula One in the United States or something like that, this could just be a marketing tool. And I could 100% buy that. I don't know if that's true with the Formula One, but if that happens, I will 100% believe that theory.
Yeah. So I've heard that theory. It might have been. I feel like it was Static. It might have been somebody else. Somebody said
it was on the F&T because they were.
It was on F&T.
I feel like Static said something like that on F&T. I have no idea.
I don't know. I didn't watch F&T that week, so I don't know.
Is the sequel going to be called F2 or F12?
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. I'm just actually curious.
I don't know. Anyway, but listen, enjoy it. People we know have enjoyed it. So there we go. You see, I don't believe anything Ariel says anyway because she claims she's banned, but she's right here. So.
Ariel's. Anyway. I'm on Ariel's side.
You're just saying that because she watched you play poker all night last night.
Yeah.
Elio,
poker in Red Dead is way more fun than it has any right to be. I won't judge Jeremy for that. I'll judge him for a ton of other stuff, but playing poker in Red Dead, no, can't do it.
Elio, failure. That budget's way bigger than that. Total failure.
It hasn't even crossed 100. What is it? Week 3 now, and not even over 100.
I don't know. Is it week 2 or week 3?
I think it's week 2.
Week 3. It's week 3.
Week 3.
Week 3.
That's so bad.
So forget baby steps. All that money, Lilo and Stitch, wiped out by Elio. They had to use that to balance the books on Elio.
Have you seen what Pixar's come out and said about it?
No. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't.
There's multiple things with it. So originally, apparently, in the test screenings a couple months ago or a year ago, the test screeners were asked after the film, "Would you spend money to watch this movie?" Not a single hand raised. Yeah. And so Pixar came in and said, "All right, you got to de-gayify this movie." At that time it was super gay. Yeah, I remember. But someone who works at Pixar came out and did a TikTok video, and I believe it's on the official Pixar account saying you can't keep complaining that Disney doesn't release original films and then not support an original film when it comes out. Films still have to be good.
Yes.
Originality in and of itself does not equate good. And that's something a lot of these people don't realize. We can make fun of Snow White all day long for being ass and unoriginal, but we can do that for Elio too. It's about quality more than anything else. Some people think originality is a blanket. It should be a success. You should support it just because it's original. That's not the case whatsoever.
Nope.
I didn't even know this movie came out until people started talking about it.
I knew it was coming out because I marked it as one of the big failures that was going to happen in my original take at the beginning of the year. So I got to win on this one. I got some L's.
This
here
is
and there.
so much lower than I thought. I thought it'd top out around 200, but barely.
This is a total rejection. Look at the international, 41 million international. This is complete rejection. So there you go. These were the movies that were all going to cling to life until this week, because now I want to play a clip real quick of me from earlier this week, just real quick, just to show that I was right when I said this. Box office, Jurassic World Rebirth opens mighty Wednesday, $30 million on Wednesday. Holy shit! Dinosaurs! That is the biggest opening Wednesday we've had this year. That is the biggest opening of a preview we've had this year. Holy shit. Strategy. July 4th weekend. July 4th weekend for Rebirth. This thing is going to have an opening worldwide, global, of $300 million plus. And, well, guess what? I was right. Because Rebirth has opened at 318 worldwide.
That's still slightly under projections, but it is doing well.
Yeah, it's good, but not great. It's definitely below Dominion, but it's going to crush the competition, like we've said this entire time. I mean, Superman's not going to get 200 million, 250 maybe opening weeks. So
maybe
this is I would put this in the win category for Jurassic World. I know a lot of people have controversial thoughts and conflicting thoughts about the quality of the film, but you have to say that it's doing enough to justify its existence from a box office standpoint, at least for right now, because its budget isn't insane considering how much CGI
they
is in
say
it.
It's 180, and I can believe that. Maybe more close to 200. And the marketing was a very small marketing campaign.
Yeah,
it wasn't
large.
Massive. They just kind of said
break even 500. I think you can get 500.
I feel 550. And now my original take was it's going to top out at 1.3. Now you said it's tracking lower than Dominion. Either way, I still think it hits 1 to 1.3. I think it's going to get there based upon the overall enthusiasm. I think the international is going to carry it like it does in most things. But this is a success in terms of, and all three of you have seen this. All three of you have seen this. Outside of, let's just say, the whatever weaknesses there are in the script and the story, is there anything controversial in this movie?
Not
agenda-wise.
No, I wouldn't call this movie woke at all. Like, Scarlett Johansson being a girl boss is something that I entirely disagree with. She doesn't do any crazy feats of strength. She's not a bitch. Like, she tries to have personal relationship with the characters, tries to joke with them, tries to be likable when she's trying to be. And yeah, her physical strength. She rappels down a cliff. That's very difficult. And she has a sniper shot she does. I mean, it's not really a sniper shot, but she shoots the Mosasaurus, which we see in the trailer. Those are the biggest physical feats that she shows in the movie. The third act is mostly running.
She also saves, what's his name, from falling off the cliff edge, the paleontologist dude.
Okay, so yeah, she does have that one, but that is supported by physics with the rope over the edge, taking a lot of the weight, using leverage. So yeah, she doesn't do anything that is beyond what you'd expect from her strength. It's all very realistic in my opinion. And yeah, I wouldn't call her a girl boss in any way, shape, or form. I would call her boring. I think she was one of the most boring characters in the film. Separate category.
Separate discussion.
Yeah, she's very, very bland in the film. But yeah, agenda-wise, I didn't see any agenda in it whatsoever. Nothing of note. The family was a little annoying at times, especially the teenage boy. God, I wanted him to get destroyed and eviscerated. And the teenage girl as well. I got really excited when she fell out of the boat. But yeah, there's not anything that I would call woke. It is dumb fun. It's not trying to be artistic, but it's doing more so with its script than a lot of the predecessors. It's not, ooh, big monster fights, kaiju, monsterverse crap. These are animals. They are treated like animals. Like the T-Rex scene is I think is a decent scene because that is a T-Rex who has fed well and then sees a giant yellow thing next to it and it's like, oh, what's that big yellow thing next to me? It's not trying to eat them, in my opinion. It was very much trying to be like a dog. Dogs use their mouths, and T-Rexes don't have arms enough to pick up a yellow thing, so it's just like, hey, what is that? So I like that portrayal. Besides the hybrids, which are awful, don't have them in the movie, all the dinosaurs were treated like animals, and we haven't seen that since the third Jurassic Park movie. There were sometimes individuals where like Blue was treated like an animal in the previous World films, but all the real dinosaurs were treated like animals in this film. And I like that.
I like the fact that they finally put the river raft scene, which was originally in the very first book, and they were going to have it on in the first film, but the technology wasn't there at the time, so they didn't put it on. And I was quite glad that they actually had it on. But it is on the Jurassic World Rampage Edition Mega Drive game, Sega Genesis game, on the Alan Grant levels. I've only ever done that scene at least maybe once or twice years ago, and it's a bit of a jump scare, shall we say?
Now, Dermy, Jed mentioned it, and I've heard you mention it as well. This franchise has essentially become Godzilla Legendary Verse. Yeah, with its release. You said that yourself. Why?
Because Jed kind of hinted at it. Like, they quit really treating the dinosaurs like dinosaurs or animals. They started treating them more like monsters. And then even if you go into like the original three, I think they steadily declined in value and in style over a period of time. And now when you got onto the Jurassic World movies, they're just monster movies, for lack of a better term, where you have genetically enhanced dinosaurs battling real dinosaurs, and you just keep escalating it. And then you get into the third one, which was just all about global warming and stuff like that. They're no longer actually like good narrative telling devices at all, and they don't have that same thing that the first one had about like what humans shouldn't do, and like, you know, like playing God and stuff like that. This is just now, hey, you played God, now let's see the monsters battle each other.
And this movie, as you guys describe it, it's less that they made an attempt, and as Jed put it to me in a separate discussion of this, they had to work with what they had with the lore, and they've tried to reshape it. And slop is slop, but there's harmless slop and there's agenda slop. And to me, as I've already said, this sounds like just harmless slop. And it seems as though the reaction to this movie by, let's just say, a certain section of reviewers and movie analysts has been to treat this like it was an agenda-driven machine that is out there to warp and indoctrinate people and push the needle on certain things. And would you guys say that it's an overreaction or an unnecessary reaction to a movie that should just be categorized as not great, turn your brain off, have fun, doesn't need to be freaking high cinema?
Right. Well, there is, it's not full-fledged agenda, but there is like a commentary on trying to think of the words again, like the medical industry bad, like,
yeah, there is a pharmaceutical villain in it, and that plot line is ridiculous, especially how it resolves in the final moments of the film. That's just plain nonsense.
But outside of that, I think a lot of people, and I don't know why they keep doing this, but they want to compare it always to the very first one, and they want to point out how the very first one was this immaculate creation that they all love. And yeah, Jurassic Park was a fantastic movie, but you have long since left what Jurassic Park was, and now you're into Jurassic World, and this is the fourth one in the Jurassic World series. So why are you comparing it to the first one when they're no longer that?
That's an excellent point, because let's remember this. Out of all the Jurassic movies, only 1.5 of them are based on Michael Crichton's actual writings.
Yeah.
The first movie is based on his book, and as Dragon Leader alluded to, it's not a one-to-one. They had left things out. They changed things. Like John Hammond doesn't survive in the book. He dies in the book, but he survives the movie and goes on to the second one. And then the second one, Lost World, the actual book is pretty good because it's very Crichton science, as Jed would have me put it. It's very Crichton scientific. They spent a lot of time with that. Ian Malcolm is the star of that book, and it has a lot of interesting stuff to it. But that movie is literally only half of the book. Everything after around the middle part of Act 2 is manufactured in the movie. It didn't happen in the book. So after, to Jeremy's point, the original one stands up because it like 85% stuck to the source material, and therefore is a legitimate thing that Michael Crichton created and had Steven Spielberg direct and John Williams make some of the most epic music of all time towards it. We can still to this day remember at the drop of a hat. Lost World falls apart because they didn't stick to his book. If they had stuck to the book, would it have been an exciting movie? No, because it's not an exciting book. It's a very slow burn, walking very close to the wire of science book, where the only exciting scene is the scene from in the book is seen in the movie where the T-Rex is getting at them in the trailer hanging off the cliff. But that's it. There's no other real excitement to that book. It's all about just going there and surviving and getting out. Everything after that, from 3 to all 4 world movies now, Michael Crichton, because the man is dead. Michael Crichton is no longer with us. He has not had an influence on any of this stuff. So to compare Jurassic World to the original movie and everything after that where Michael Crichton did influence it, that is an unfair comparison. Because you are no longer working with source material, lore, anything. And when it's left to people who do not have the creative talent that Michael Crichton did, this is what you're going to get. Especially now when you inject agenda-driven people who obviously had influence over the second and third Jurassic World movies. I only saw the first one. I didn't see 2 and 3. I only saw Original World.
They are some of the worst films ever created. Dominion especially. Some people think that Fallen Kingdom is worse. Fallen Kingdom's dumb for the first 3 quarters and then gets mouth drooly at the end. But the first 3 quarters is dumb, fun action, kind of what you'd expect. Dominion is full on, like, you need to be institutionalized if you think that movie's good. Like, it has so many contrivances. Nothing makes sense. The raptor hand thing works on multiple dinosaurs that never were trained and from multiple people besides Owen. It's just, this is magic stop dinosaurs for a few seconds move. And the whole, hey, 20 dinosaurs broke out in California 2 years later. They've multiplied and replenished the earth, spontaneously creating species that didn't escape from that house at the end of the second one, Fallen Kingdom. That is one of the dumbest, worst movies in the history of humanity, in my opinion. And to go back to your original question of if the criticism of Rebirth is a little disingenuous, the people who are specifically saying that Rebirth makes Dominion look like a cinematic masterpiece, those people need to have their brains examined with a cranial saw, because that is just one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Dominion cannot exist in a world of logic. Rebirth, you can see where it tries, and it did the best with the concept possible. You mentioned it earlier. It took Dominion's dinosaurs are everywhere, had to keep that as canon, and tried to fix it the best they could. Snowy dinosaurs don't make sense. They've clustered around the equator and are dying off because they're not used to the flora, fauna, and the diseases of the modern day. That is the best case solution for the nonsense. So they were given shit, and they made something more palatable, something that made more sense. So yeah, I think a lot of the criticism for Rebirth is very disingenuous when you're coming at it from that perspective, saying Dominion's better and makes more sense and is tighter with better characters. That's all nonsense in my opinion. There's so many things to criticize Rebirth for, especially the end. The last 15 minutes of the movie are hot, steamy garbage. Everything with the hybrids are hot, steamy garbage. They're barely in it, but it's all hot, steamy garbage. Criticize the movie for what it is instead of making up an argument, a straw man that doesn't exist. And also, maybe pay attention to the film. I've seen a lot of people criticizing the film for things that aren't true, like saying, hey, how is Henry a paleontologist who's never seen dinosaurs in their natural habitat? They said in the film the natural habitats were only established in the last couple of years in the equatorial regions, and it was illegal for him to go there. That's in the film. So yeah, it makes sense why Henry hasn't seen them in their natural habitat. He has seen dinosaurs. Obviously, there was one outside his museum at the beginning of the film. They specifically say hasn't seen them in their natural habitat. Those natural habitats have barely existed for a couple years now, and it's been illegal for him to go to those natural habitats. That's in the film. Why are we acting like it's stupid writing that he hasn't seen them in our natural habitat? Judge the movie on what actually exists instead of not paying attention and making an argument that doesn't make sense and reading into it to manufacture hate. Is it a good movie? No. It's a 5 or 6 out of 10. Like, it's a fine movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I thought it was kind of fun, and I enjoyed the writing elements of it. Especially Mahershala Ali's arc was incredibly subtle up until how it was resolved. The last 5 minutes of his resolution, I think, is awful, terrible, and it was great right before those 5 minutes. Like, you thought it was over, and then they tacked on a few extra minutes, and it was the tacked on portion that was awful. And so there are moments of decent writing for this type of film. So, yeah, I think a lot of the criticism is manufactured, and that makes me very disappointed because these are people that I respect, and they're making up criticism that isn't true in the movie, like the Henry thing, or the family who go into mosasaur-infested waters. That still makes sense. As far as the world knows, there was one dinosaur in the ocean, the mosasaur. They don't know about the spinosaur hybrids. They know about the mosasaur, and that's one dinosaur in the entire ocean, and they say hundreds of ships every year risk mosasaur-infested waters. So they risk it. And then other people say, how didn't the government see a little sailboat in Atlantic Ocean? The Atlantic Ocean is huge. That's not a big thing. That's not a big pill to swallow. This movie isn't good. There's 100 great pieces of criticism for it. Why are we making up criticism for a film that already has great things to criticize? Like one thing that I really think it should have done, the pharmaceutical guy, of course he's a bad guy. It's a Jurassic Park film. There's going to be a twist where the corporate guy's a villain at the end. It's what we've seen. I wish that they had made him a good guy. That would have been a good twist and good amount of writing. But yeah, that's a great thing to criticize, is that last minute, oh yeah, he's evil because he's corporate.
A good thing to criticize is the MCU level jokes where they don't let scenes like properly set. They always have to have something come out and try to ruin it. Like even the teenage boy who the girlfriend is dating, there is a good line that he says, but it gets ruined via MCU level jokes. You know, do old people ever look at a bed before they purchase and think that this is going to be their deathbed? As he's looking out at the jungle, he goes like, I think this is going to be my deathbed. And then he just keeps going with that. But I thought that was a good line, but then you just ruin it. So stop.
That's the thing. There's so many great things to criticize. It's not a good movie, but criticize things that actually exist instead of manufacturing things to be angry about. There's plenty of things to be angry about. I don't blame anyone for thinking this was a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but you gotta dislike it for real reasons instead of making up your own.
It feels
it's
like
MonsterVerse movie. I'm looking at it like slop, but I had fun with it. So
yeah, it feels like their obsession with hating it is obsessing in the wrong direction. Is my general feel. Having not seen it and listening to you guys talk about it, some of us talk about it, and then watching online reactions, it just feels as though they want to hate it for different reasons than why they should be unhappy with it. Is that what I'm feeling?
I could also think that they got really turned off essentially by that first frickin' scene, which is atrocious.
The Snickers bar?
Yeah. That
I could totally buy that island getting taken down, so I still think the movie would happen regardless. But yeah, a Snickers wrapper taking down this lab, it's taken too far. Little things can wreck clean room environments like that, but to have it literally get sucked into a vent and cause an explosion, a little explosion, but an explosion, that was too much. Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous. Cut the D-Rex out of the movie. You don't even need to explain why the island's abandoned. We know, hey, Dinosaur Island, people have left it because dinosaurs break out. That's already well enough established. We don't need that opening scene. We don't need the D-Rex, which is a dumb fucking name. This movie could have been worse, though.
Wait, apparently it's really called the D-Rex?
Yeah. I don't think they ever reveal what the D stands for.
So us calling it the Downtosaurus Rex is kind of legitimate then.
I think it could. My bet is they never did this in the movie, but there was a commentary that the paleontologist, when he was saying like humans have the capacity to like destroy ourselves, even though we have the largest cranial system. When you look at the D-Rex, it has that larger brain. So I was wondering maybe that it was experimenting to give a dinosaur like a human style brain, a larger brain cavity and something like that, but they never really build upon it. It's just there.
The D-Rex, doesn't show up until the end of the movie and doesn't do anything besides monster shit. And it's massive. I don't know if you know how big it is, Adam. It eats a helicopter, basically. That's how big it is. Like the helicopter fits in its mouth
look
mostly.
Very big in the trailers is the thing.
It's huge. It's like King Kong in the Godzilla versus Kong movie.
Really?
Size. It's massive. It straight up has a helicopter in its mouth.
Wow.
At one point. And that scene is ridiculous. I think cut the D-Rex out of the movie. And it could have been worse, though. We got reports that the original ending of the film included the D-Rex and the T-Rex fighting and the T-Rex winning the fight and being, just like the ending of the first Jurassic World movie. Oh, the real is always better than the manufactured type message. And this film could have been a lot better. I say cut out the hybrids. There's these weird hybrid pterodactyl-like flying carnivores that are the main antagonists for right up until the T-Rex at the end of the film. Just have those be the fucking pterodactyl carnivores that we see earlier on in the film. They have a reason to be angry at them already because you see in the trailer they get a sample of one of the eggs. They're already in the film. They're already established. Why did you make up hybrids to chase the humans at the end of the film? Just use the same flying carnivores that you already established. And that's the thing. The hybrids are the worst part of this movie.
And this island was also supposed to be filled with hybrids and genetically altered dinosaurs, and you only see 2. Like, well, you see the Spinosaurs. The Spinosaurs were genetically enhanced.
Yeah, they mentioned that they're slightly modified. So yeah, the Spinosaurs. Those aren't Spinosaurs like we see in Jurassic Park 3. But so yeah, we see 3 hybrids on an island that is supposed to be exclusively hybrids.
I guess you could also argue 4 because of the Groot. Baby Groot level 1 that the little girl.
Oh yeah, is that a hybrid?
Yeah, that's a hybrid. That was not a real dinosaur.
So Adam, imagine Dora the Explorer showing up on an island and finding a meerkat with the Triceratops head and carrying it around through the film, calling it Dolores.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry, Dolores was cute to me.
She was. Cute. I wish you could have called it Boots though.
That would
look. You already dressed her like Dora. Just go the 9 yards.
All right, so
the Dolores part, like there's tons of stupid stuff, but when you start looking at it like a MonsterVerse movie, like Godzilla versus Kong or something like that, even though I hate Godzilla versus Kong, it becomes
it's still better written than all of those movies, though. I think it's still got a script. It still tries to have character arcs. It still tries to justify itself. Like I think the heart sample thing, it's dumb, stupid, and contrived video game plot, but it's way better than I expected. The idea of, hey, the biggest dinosaurs all had really long lives, which is unusual for large creatures. We want to get a sample of their DNA to figure out how their hearts were able to handle that massive size for so many years. That's an attempt at an explanation that I can see working in this type of film. They didn't need to do that, though. And it wasn't just, oh, we need the biggest carnivores because they're scary or anything. One of them was a herbivore, and that was a weird, the Titanosaur. Adam, imagine a brachiosaur like 10 times its size with a tail of a mile long.
Yeah, they are real dinosaurs. They are freaking insane and
those tails are ridiculous, though. I don't know how those tails operated, but that was a good scene. I think that's the first scene since the awe scene. Every Jurassic Park movie tries to have an awe scene. We're like, oh, dinosaurs are cool, like the moment in the original film when Dr. Grant saw the brachiosaur for the first time. They all try to recreate that moment. I think this is the best one since 2 or 3. Like it's the best world awe moment when you see the Titanosaurs getting it on.
I think so.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Too.
I heard about that.
They don't show it, but it's just they're nuzzling
but I heard the
against
comment.
each other.
The comment from the director was if they had actually shown it, several legs wouldn't be on the ground or something like that.
There would have been some mounting.
Yeah,
but I unequivocally think this is the best world film. And I think 3 is overhated. I think 3 is better than 2. I fucking despise 2, but I think
because they butchered the book.
So I would put this as the 4th best.
I either think it's either better than the first one or it's just below the first one. That's where I'm putting it. I also think get rid of the D-Rex, get rid of the giant mutant dinosaurs, put in the Giganosaurus Rex, which was essentially the largest T-Rex that was ever actually existed. Have an island
real,
because you're already doing the whole like giant dinosaur things. Like these were the largest dinosaurs ever. do the giant T-Rex that is maybe a little smaller than the D-Rex was, but is like a massive dinosaur.
And have that be one of the samples so that there's actual tension involved with the fight, because the fight at the end, you're just running from the D-Rex to try to get away. That's all it was in the film. Imagine if it had been one of the dinosaurs they needed to get a sample from, so they're trying to get close to it to make that shot that has to be within 10 meters, and that would have created a lot more tension. You're not just fleeing a dinosaur, you're trying to trick it and sneak up close to it. And that's a lot more tension.
What would that have been like if it was an intelligence enhanced dinosaur, like you were talking about? If it had the bigger brain and could not fall for a trick or something like that. There's a storyline there. And real quick,
there's a lot of potential.
Hail to Dre. He's watching us. Good man. Good man. Be a good dad. And yes, dinosaurs are undefeated. And yes, introducing Dre Jr. to us early on, so he'll be familiar with our voices.
I think that's a bad idea to introduce Dre Jr. to me early on.
Yeah, you're not invited.
Yeah.
So in the end here, a flawed movie, but the criticisms that a lot of criticisms are not at the flaws that should be focused on, but in some cases perhaps manufactured flaws, or just, I will say, woke era PTSD flaws that people are attaching on. But in the end, it doesn't matter. 300 million plus opening holiday weekend. Will it hit $1 billion? I still think it will. I think it's going to eke it out now between 1.3. I was probably being a little over generous sitting it would land at 1.3, but it is on track, in my opinion, to take the crown for the July box office three-way dance. And our next topic, of course, I don't think it's going to win, because I don't think it's going to be good. Okay, so real quick, we did have a poll running on how late Dermy was going to be. And with only the 11 votes, they said you were going to be an hour late, but you made it.
Yay. I made it like 20-some minutes. I woke up at noon, and then I told my alarm to snooze for another 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's when I woke up at noon, my time. Anyway, all right. So the next film this week, and this now here's where I will now step into the arena of analysis and reviewing, because I'll be honest, this is the one I'm excited for, because this is the one to me that has the biggest chance to prove me wrong, and therefore I need to know if I'm going to be right or wrong, and that is James Gunn's Superman. Oh, boy. From top to bottom, ever since this movie was announced, the one question was, will James Gunn be able to understand and put out a convincing, legitimate story about Superman? And to this very day today, where we are now about 72 hours away, roughly, from the release of James Gunn's Superman, I have seen no evidence to tell me otherwise. I've only seen evidence to increasingly lower my expectations that this movie could be good. To the point where, and I've said this before, I'm not going to hide from this statement because I've said it many times. At this point, I'm not going to pretend I want this to be good. Do I want good Superman? Of course I do. But I don't think James Gunn can give it to us. I don't think James Gunn involved any way can give us your Superman, because he doesn't understand the character. He doesn't understand how Superman should be and behave. And every single clip, every single interview, every single little bit of information we've had about this has told us that. So before I jump into the latest stuff that happened this week, literally today, Jed, outside of, I think we all agree it's going to have a successful opening weekend comparatively. It's going to launch comparatively well, $200 million worldwide. It's going to have that.
Yeah, it's going to come well below Jurassic Parks or Jurassic Worlds. The predictions right now are 130 to 150 domestically. And I think it's going to come below that, but that's still not an unrealistic prediction at this point, I think.
It might be a little above, just because normal people still see Superman, go like, oh, Superman. Well, Superman.
The normie factor is big, and there has been the conversation surrounding this that we the nerds, we the geeks, the nerds, the fans, the hardcore people who understand this stuff, we're the ones who have been leaning too much into and perhaps reading too much into stuff, and that overall the normies have generally been accepting of what they've seen,
which I do think might be a factor. To counter that, though, again, I went to go see Deadpool last year, and Captain America trailer played, and somebody thought that was Hawkeye.
I mean, it is.
Well, no, it's I hang on, brain. But hey, I need a restart. Hang on.
That Dermy comment broke us both because I heard Falcon too.
No, I heard Hawkeye.
You heard Hawkeye, but it's like there's 3 all wrongs right there.
I heard Hawkeye. Point is, there is the factor whether or not normies are going to get into this or not. Now, that is the big factor. Normies are what make or break something. That's the truest thing in the world. And normies are not stupid. Normies are not dumb. They just want to be given something very easily on a plate they can digest and then walk away from satisfied and maybe go back and see it again. That's all, because normies run the world. Normies make the world move. The normies deserve to have something easily presented where they can understand it and then move on. They don't want to think too hard because they have to go back and do their normie shit the next day. We got an accidental review release the other day. One of what's going to be many, but it is all we have to go on. The Daily Beast dropped it, and we're not going to go into heavy detail because I don't want to do possible spoilers now, although some of it does lean into what we kind of knew what was going to happen. And what we have here, though, is a review that basically says everything wrong with this movie that we have been saying is wrong with this movie. All the way down the list of it has the bloated cast, which leads to no real connections between any of the characters, both emotionally or realistically, a narrative story that's all over the place, and a bad attempt at a comic book feel.
I will just give it pressure here, not to defend the Daily Beast or anything. This is actually a criticism of the Daily Beast.
Oh,
it's the Daily Beast.
Bastion of crap.
Yeah, it's the Bastion of crap. So, like, I'm not defending the movie here because I still don't know, but it's from the Daily Beast. I know.
Yeah, it's not a legitimate source, but if it's pointing out the same things that we saw predictions, our reactions to these things might be different. But I see it as more confirming that the issues presented in the trailer, those events and those things are present in the film. However they're portrayed, however you feel about them might be different than the Daily Beast. But it is an insider view of, yes, the stuff shown in the trailer is accurate to the content of the film, and that's a value, I think, because we did hear, I think it was David Cornswallow who said that in all the trailers, we've just seen the beginning of the film. We've just seen the tip, is how he said it. And so
the tip. Just the tip.
That sounds like another James Gunnian lie just through Cornswallow's mouth.
There's no way we have just seen the beginning, because there is also a clip of the final fight. There's seen like the
putting on the booties. It was the first piece of imagery we saw of him putting on the boots while giant space eyeballs shooting up the city.
Unless they're trying to argue that whole interview that he does with Lois Lane is at the beginning, and we're just being retold.
It's 10 to 15 minutes long. And
well, I thought they cut that. Because I think they decided to cut a bunch of that because of it was too long.
Point is, again, you guys are absolutely correct. Daily Beast, not reliable. But if you look at just what they're saying, like Jed just reaffirmed, they're hitting the bullet points of everything we've been criticizing from the trailer, saying it's in the movie. And without their opinions on it, just the knowledge of you can't, here's the thing. Daily Beast may be shit. And whatever their opinions are may be shit. But they're reporting on the literal content of the movie. That's undeniable. That is the content that we've been criticizing. Therefore, I feel like my prediction of this thing being a gigantic bomb is going to happen. And with its actual costs of $300+ million, 363, 368, add in the marketing, surging towards $600 million. This movie needs to break $1 billion to hit the break-even zone. And you could start with like a 250 million worldwide premiere. That's not going to get you there.
Oh, that's far from what it needs.
If Rebirth ain't going to get there with 318 million start, and that's the one that has the best chance, no way James Gunn's Superman gets there.
I think there might be a chance just because I know normies don't really look at it that way, but Rebirth has like baggage to it.
Mm-hmm.
If normies are at least with some sense, they're going to be like, well, this is a new one.
That we've talked about that Superman, the one advantage Superman has against Rebirth and Baby Steps is that it doesn't carry the baggage of the MCU and stuff like that.
Doesn't have baggage and doesn't require homework, which is a big thing for normies these days. That's why one of the reasons why the MCU is so hard for people these days, normies, because it requires so much goddamn homework. Even for me, it seems unbearable the amount of stuff you have to watch, especially with the TV shows. Regardless of the quality, the homework is a debilitating factor. This one, as long as normies understand that it's a reboot, because sometimes the differences between franchises is confusing to people who aren't in the sphere. As long as they understand that will help versus Rebirth, where you assume you have to watch 6 other movies.
Which is why I've said the opening weekend will probably look very good. But once word of mouth begins on this movie, and if it is a narrative disaster, if the D-list Justice Leaguers are terrible and annoying, if the story makes no sense, if Crypto is obnoxious, if nobody feels like Superman and Lois have a relationship, which is one of the criticisms of this from this review, that there's like no relationship there. They just talk at each other and move on to another scene. If all these things come to pass and people aren't satisfied that they got a real Superman experience, that is going to sink this movie faster than the Titanic. It's going to crash and burn because James Gunn refuses to have it be truth, justice, and the American way. He refused to do stuff. To this very moment right here, he is a liar. We know for a fact that they have kept out truth, justice, the American way, yet he says right here in a quote from a latest interview that came out today, multiple sources on this, we're going Variety for it. James Gunn says Superman encompasses the story of America and is about a man searching for a better life away from his original home. I mean, Superman is the story of America, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it's mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost.
This just looks like him taking advantage of the current political climate.
Yes.
That's all that looks like. And this comes after he has mentioned that America is something he's thought about in the film. Do we believe him? No. But when the first trailer came out, he talked about how seeing Superman broken, beaten, and bloody at the beginning of that first trailer was a metaphor for how America is right now and how that we're not the shining beacon of hope that we should be. And just talking about how America sucks when that trailer came out, which is not what you want to hear leading up to a Superman movie. So yeah, this is just taking advantage of the thing to get like trending. That's all he is. He's always lying on Twitter to try to get trending, to create artificial marketing for the film, because I think he is one of those people who believes the disproven adage that all press is good press. That is not true, and I think it's still retarded that people still believe that phrase is true. It can be, but it's not guaranteed to be. So I think he's trying to live out that adage by doing everything he can to artificially create trending topics.
But furthermore, all he successfully has done is shown himself to be a liar. And if you are just doing the lies and you constantly go out there and say like, hey, this is going to be in the movie, and it doesn't show up in the movie, you're hurting yourself at the end of the day. You're not helping the movie. You're hurting the movie. Because then people are going to be like, you lied to us. Why the fuck will we ever come back? Because you lied straight to my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did at one point in time say this movie will be based off truth, justice, and the American way back when it was first announced.
That's
like then it's gone
years
away.
ago. That's 2 years ago, man.
God, that was 2 years ago. Jeez.
Now, it was 2 years ago it was announced, and then when it went into production, 1.5 years, and we've been waiting, and here we are to the very point where now James Gunn, I think he senses that this is about to receive a very rude awakening. in terms of the reception. Now the stands, they're all over the place. And as Jed mentioned, the conversation online about this movie. So I feel as though in our discussions, we've been as fair as possible. We've worked with what we've seen. I haven't made up a single solitary, in my opinion, fake take. I have based everything I've said upon words said by James Gunn in the cast and clips we've been given. And I've made my assessment based on that. But you take that beyond somebody like us who are trying to be objective, or at least our bias is visible, but we're showing the evidence of why we're biased. The conversation between the other sides, the gun stands and the Snyder Bros, it's disgusting at this point, the behavior for all these people. Whether you are pro Snyder or not, first of all, and once again, let's remind, we on this panel, we are not Snyder Bros. We are not.
Snyder put out one decent movie, and that was something that the fans had to get. Outside of that, they were all garbage.
And even then, Justice League is questionable with that too. It's not by any means a movie. I've seen it once. Outside, I've rewatched a few clips here and there, but I've only seen it once. I never want to see it.
It doesn't need to be that long. There's a 10-minute scene about a woman sniffing Aquaman's sweater while a choir sings behind her. It's ridiculous.
Point is, we're not here to defend Snyder. And the one thing that is going to make me very frustrated from this whole experience is that if this movie is a disaster, I think it's going to be, all we're going to hear about is return the Snyderverse, restore it. It's going to start all over again, and I don't want that. But at the same time, the behavior of James Gunn stands talking about some very horrific statements concerning Zack Snyder, not just the stuff, but they've aimed at Zack Snyder. It's disgusting, and it's moments like this that I say social media was a mistake. The internet was a mistake because people wouldn't say these types of things to somebody in their face because they would get punched out, because they know they would when you say a horrific statement concerning somebody's family or lack thereof in these cases. And I'm trying to be tactile and not repeat what I've said here.
It's vile. I know the one you're talking about. I think I showed it to you or told you about it. Mm-hmm. It is straight up like a vile human being who's saying this shit about the Snyderverse and Zack Snyder himself. These aren't people that we want to support in either side. There's crazy people on both sides of this argument, and yeah, I do fear that this will just reinvigorate the Snyder fans into restore the Snyderverse if this movie fails. That's why I kind of want Superman to be good just because of that, but at the same time, I want it to fail so that maybe the next time it's rebooted, hopefully in at least 10 years, it'll be good. It's a no-win scenario for people like us.
The weirdest thing I've been seeing, because I've seen some of the Snyder versus Gunn bros. It's weird because Snyder and Gunn are like really best friends. They're super close, but then their fans hate each other with a fucking passion. It's so... It is an interesting way to like explore the human mind there, but it's also very awkward. I'll say this. I'm over here really hoping that James Gunn is just an idiot and that the marketing campaign was awful. That's where I'm at.
I understand that. There are some people we do know who are clinging to that hope, but you know, Dre has said it to me enough times. Don't do it. You're only going to hurt yourself. And I'm there. And to Jed's point about wanting it to be bad, I want it to be bad not because I want a bad Superman movie, because I want James Gunn to stop. I just want him to stop doing things he's not good at. Make your niche shit. That's what you're good at. James Gunn makes good movies, but this is a very singular, specific character that has a mold that should not be broken. You saw what happened when Zack Snyder tried to break that mold and do certain things. The rest of the world generally rejected Zack Snyder's Superman. We liked Henry Cavill. We didn't like what they did with it.
No, I think just on statistical probability, this film will be better than BVS. I refuse to believe anything differently at this point. It's going to be bad, absolutely. But a blind man could shit on the floor and finger paint with it and come across higher art than BVS. So I think, yeah, we're going to get a better film than that still.
I mean, of course, what I'm saying is I don't think James Gunn's going to stop. He has too big an ego. But what I'm saying is, let's stop pretending that he can do anything, because the James Gunn cult thinks he can do anything at this point.
No, James Gunn has always been very good at the more niche, kooky, wacky stuff, and like even when he helped out with not The Walking Dead, I can never remember what it was. That movie that Snyder put out that he was really helpful, the zombie one. That's
Army
good.
Of the Dead?
Not Army of the Dead. It was the first one.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was. It was a remake, but anyways, like that's his specialty is the weird, kooky, niche stuff. And that's why it kind of worked with Guardians of the Galaxy, because not a whole lot of people understood who the Guardians were. They didn't know anything about it. Yeah, he diverted very far from what they actually were, but it worked.
He normalized them.
He normalized them. Superman is something completely different than Guardians or Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You need to just follow the material here. Just make him the Blue Boy Scout.
And he hasn't.
As much as people aren't fond of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, the last clip I saw was the kaiju almost stepping on the dog and him telling the dog to move and then blowing it away. The whole thing just doesn't feel right. And if you and people going, this goes hard. Hard is what you did when you ran into the wall and turned yourself into a retard. That was the hard. If you think that anything from this movie looks and goes hard.
He got an ego because of Guardians. I think that's what really gave him this big ego and thought he could do a whole lot of good. And then even when it came to the Suicide Squad, people liked that movie as well. And I think because people keep liking his movies, he has this massive ego that he could do no wrong. And we're about to
listen. Peacemaker's not good.
It's not. I watched season 1 and I hated it. It was so dumb.
You're not gonna get me to watch Peacemaker. I saw the fucking animated show that they put out. God, what
Creature Commandos? Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, and that should be James Gunn's niche. Weird out there shit nobody knows about, but he managed to F that up as the beginning of the DCU.
Yeah, who starts with an animated TV show as the beginning of their cinematic universe? You start with Superman. It's kind of obvious.
You can start with Superman. If your animated show though is like maybe something about Superman or Batman, something.
Yeah, that might help. That might help.
In the end,
we
are a few days away. I'm gonna let's rehash our predictions and go down the list.
But before we do that, if you'd like, I have a side-by-side comparison of both Snyder fans and James Gunn fans being just ridiculous and inauthentic. So we have this here. So this starts out, this is a video that has been making the rounds. You can tell what it's about just from the first image, saying that he's ripping off the Flash because these two shots are the same.
That's
what?
Totally illogical.
This entire video is stuff like, see, he ripped it off because look, there's lasers. Oh, look, there's a close-up. It's a ripoff. This is what Snyder fans are doing, is saying he's ripping off the Flash and DC movies. Yeah. There's this one I think is all Flash, but they're saying the same stuff from other movies as well. Like Superman punched someone. Oh, it's a ripoff of Man of Steel. So you've got the Snyder Bros just making up crap because this is not the same shot. This is not even close to the same thing.
I didn't see anything. I don't know what to say, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. And I was the one that liked Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I do like 300. I think that's the best. I would argue that's the best out of all this stuff. I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder, but I do appreciate what he at least was trying to do with Justice League, and that's about it, really. I'm not one of these crazy fans.
So this is the Snyder Bro half of it. Now we have the Gunn side of things. So we have this shot here, which is from a recent clip. Can anyone see what's a little bit wrong with this?
That can't be real. That has to be edited.
No, it's a wide angle issue.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a legitimate thing that a lot of people have been talking about from the recent clip. And that's a problem. That's weird. And apparently this Snyder or this Gunn boy who has made his entire personality the new Superman movie doesn't see why this is a problem. Says it looks fine.
That's
I wasn't even looking at his foot.
That is cognitive dissonance right there. Despite all evidence to the contrary, you have broken your brain enough to convince yourself that something is glaringly a bad edit like this. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Don't.
So
it's fine.
You have the Snyder Bros making up shit, and the Gunn Bros just for not seeing what's in front of their very eyes.
Yeah.
This is why I'm very much not on either side.
Yeah. It's.
This is a good snapshot of both sides. This is the level of commentary that's happening from both sides right now.
Yeah. And that is why that is why it's very hard to have this conversation, period, about this. If I am against it, I'm a hater who wants it for rage clicks, which have I been raging once in any of my discussion? Do I get a little bit? Of course I do. But this whole thing about it, you're either hating on it to hate on its sake, or if you like it, or in your Snyder Bro, they automatically call us a Snyder Bro, which it just boggles my mind. I've never once been super positive about anything Snyderverse. At the same time, if you say anything about it positive, which I admit I have not really, you get called a shill and this and that. So there's no easy way to navigate this, which is why I am very happy it's finally going to get here, and we're going to see it, and I'll be able to find at least verbal receipts because of course it's a movie in the theaters. I won't have clips, I won't have stills to back me up, but having seen it, I'll be able to officially make my case of why. However, I'm going to feel about it when I see
Ballbusters is going to be weird.
Yes, it's going. Well, it all depends on how honest people are going to be. It's all going to be that. And so, honestly speaking, I have not changed how I felt about this. It's going to have a likely solid opening weekend of between 250 worldwide, global. But in the end, once word of mouth goes around, I think because of the broken narrative this movie's likely to have, because of the fact there's too many characters that no one's going to be able to latch onto it, and the fact that if things are true, it's going to be a very superficial Superman, nothing deep, nothing connect you to why Superman is great. The normies are going to reject this because they're not going to find anything to hold on to. So I think in the end, this thing notches between 550 and 650 in the end. That's what it notches. And that's a failure. That's a flop because that will lose it at least $300 to $400 million because the break even is going to be around $1 billion. So that's how I feel. Jed?
I think you've hit it right on the head. It needs at least $1 billion to break even, 1.3 to justify its existence, and it's not even going to sniff that. And the 500 million range, I think, is a good point for right now. We really have to wait till the second week drop off, as usual, to see how much the word of mouth has affected this film. I'm thinking about a 250 opening weekend worldwide is kind of what I'm thinking, plus or minus a little bit. And then, yeah, you usually see the first weekend doubled. So 500 to 550 is a very apt prediction at this point, barring some massive backlash that destroys the word of mouth, which I don't predict.
Barring or it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And if it's the greatest thing in the world, then it wins. But Dermy.
I think even if it's the greatest thing in the world, it still has a long shot towards $1 billion. Even if I'm going to be the guy that wants this movie to do well, just because there's been good movies that have come out that just don't do well.
True.
That's been something that we've been noticing a lot of as well. I think maybe 250. Part of me wants to say maybe 300 million, maybe, but that really just depends on, is it a good movie?
And the problem with that is, like we mentioned at the beginning, that weird 2-day Amazon exclusive preview, that's going to hurt the opening, because that's a lot of people that are going to go see it and not pay for it. So that's going to hurt the opening. Dragon Lady, you want to weigh in or pass?
I have no interest in Superman, despite the cute dog. But other than that,
shut up! Shut up! Shut up! You're disqualified. You're disqualified. No more. You're done. All right. So yeah, no, you're done. Pulling the plug. Crypto is annoying already,
and it Uncanny Valley is
it's a fake dog. It is there's no real dog in that movie. Everything Crypto is CGI. It's not a real dog. And we have
not even
2
crypto.
dog people on this panel.
It's not even crypto.
You're both, and that's Dermy's point. We got 2 dog owners, and Dermy has been saying this since we got that reveal. It's not even the right breed, and that's a big deal to some people.
So much ego from James Gunn. Oh, I'm from Missouri. Now Superman's from Missouri. Superman is most like me.
Careful, he's gonna throw shit.
Why? And he's from Kansas. Missouri's not Kansas. They might be right next to each other, but motherfucker, go to the border and talk about the border wars with people.
Yeah, go to Kansas City. See how much people like getting confused for one or the other.
This movie.
Yeah, I was confused. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, isn't Superman supposed to be from Kansas? Even I know that one.
This movie has a very large mountain to climb. I don't outside of a few people who I think are incorrect or your stands and you're just fucking retarded. I don't think this movie makes it, and I think this causes the DCU to crash and burn at the outset because James Gunn's already talking Batman and Wonder Woman. I'm going to be looking at 2 Batman scripts this year. How do you not already have a Batman DCU script in your hand?
Why doesn't he just... I've said to do this multiple times. Just go to the guy that did the Batman. I can't remember his name. And say, hey, your sequel is not... Yeah, Matt Reeves. Go to Matt Reeves and say, your sequel is now just going to be incorporated into our
James
universe.
Gunn didn't create it. That's why.
And that would make sense because, that movie, I think it's okay. The Batman's fine. Like, it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's a good movie, though. But it didn't connect to the broader universe. It could easily slip into a cinematic universe. It doesn't contradict anything.
Matt Reeves has openly said that he doesn't want to get to the mystical side of Batman, even though I think he was going to do like Clayface or Dr. Freeze in the next one. It's like, no, just connect it. And I know you don't want to do it, but let's just do it because then it's easy. You have your Batman, you have your universe. Go with it.
But it's not James Gunn's idea of Batman because remember, everything about the DCU is what James Gunn likes. It's not what anybody
Damian
else
Wayne's coming right off the bat.
Yep.
I like Damian Wayne, but stop.
You haven't.
How do you skip Red Hood and Jason Todd?
How do you skip Dick Grayson? How do you skip Dick Grayson, Robin into Nightwing? How do you skip any of that? And how do you follow logical things?
Jason Todd and Red Hood.
Or have a logical thing of give me a Batman movie with Dick Grayson, adult Robin, maybe make it that movie, you transition to Nightwing, and then give us Teen Titans.
A good Teen Titans versus that TV show that came out a few years ago.
Hey.
No, he's talking the live action.
No. I'm talking to the live action TV show from a couple years.
They made Starfire look like a whore.
Starfire was black.
Yeah, no, she's orange. She's Tamaranian. She's orange, and she's bubbly and beautiful.
She's beautiful. They do breathe more through their skin, but they went too far.
Anyway, so James Gunn's Superman. Find out in a few days. Tune in for my review, Dermy's review, and we'll talk about this between Ballbusters and here all next weekend. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. We'll see you
Bring
there.
your wallets. I'm willing to bet Ballbusters is going to be very off the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let it have fun.
Yeah, there's going to be yelling and screaming, no doubt, on Ballbusters. If everybody's honest, maybe not. But if they're not,
there's going to be yelling and screaming.
Anyway, one thing that has been devoid of yelling and screaming is the basic reaction to Ironheart. Ironheart failure, complete and total failure by the world. The world at large, 90% of the world has admitted this thing is a failure. Terrible. But there's always that little bit.
You mean a movie that's been ready? Oh, well, a show that was been ready for 3 years at this point in time, and they had to cut up and reconnect to hell and back. That was a flop?
Yeah, a flop. But the stands don't think so. But Dermy, you're the only person on this panel that actually suffered this one. You could go watch Dermy's reviews on it.
Died inside.
Overall, Dermy, give us a quick rundown of Ree Williams' villain's journey.
Oh, her villain's journey, it's very simple. She wanted to be iconic. She thought Iron Man had no capability to actually become Iron Man without the billions of dollars. Ignore what happened in Iron Man. She then joins a gang because she needs money to build her very advanced, better suit than Iron Man suits ever were, even though Iron Man suit ran off an arc reactor. Her suit runs off of air and solar power. Yeah. Yeah.
She's the green Iron Man.
Yes.
That's gonna be useful during the night.
Oh well, yeah, it does recharge during the night.
All right.
Yeah, there's a whole scene about that. Simultaneously, she makes an AI based off of her memory. She accidentally makes an AI based off of her memory of her dead best friend Natalie, and she's shocked that she could do that, and she thinks that Natalie's really there, but it's obviously off of her personality. Anyways, whatever. She destroys Ezekiel Stain's life after blackmailing him. She joins a gang to get money. She conducts corporate espionage everywhere, and then because, well, they killed a man and she knows that she'll eventually get killed, she decides to turn on them, killing a man herself and assisting in the murder and covering up of another death. Destroys Ezekiel Stain's life by leaving some of his technology behind, and then he gets imprisoned, and then just keeps further destroying everybody's life, all while being reassured that she's a good, awesome person, and good and bad don't actually have any meaning to their actual terms, and then makes a deal with the devil.
Yes, that's a very crisp nutshell of what goes happen, the villain's journey of Riri Williams. But and let's be honest, that has been the general view of everybody who's reviewed this slop of a show, this piece of shit that, as Jeremy said, was stitched together so many times, it doesn't make any sense when you really think about it. Magic infused tech and deals with the with the devil and all this. It's out of control. But there's always going to be that group, that diehard MCU stan group, many of them motivated by DEI agenda, that are going to say, "Oh, this thing's the greatest thing in the world." And what we have here, yeah, it is a crime against humanity, Dre. Yes, yes, it is terrible.
It's still better than She-Hulk, but that's just because She-Hulk was spit in vinegar. This is just dumb.
She-Hulk was made out of malice. This was made by retards, agenda-driven retards. But here we go. So I have a collection. I gave you guys a couple of these as I collected them earlier in the week, but I have since added to it. Let's go through this stand. It's not exactly a timeline. They're a little out of order, but let's go through the stand behavior as we watch them descend and make statements that I'm sure all of us will very easily refute, especially Jeremy, who watched it. Let's start with this one. Stand behavior. Ironheart 100% exceeded my expectations. Man, holy shit, what a show that was. And to finally introduce Mephisto. I'm looking forward to seeing both him and Riri's future in the MCU. Stop being a hater and watch this show.
You know what? I was agreeing with that until they said they finally introduced Mephisto, because, yeah, this 100% exceeded my expectations. I thought it was going to be so at least a little bit more coherent.
And you say Mephisto. Now, here's the problem. Mephisto, a legitimate big bad of Marvel. The devil.
Big bad. Yeah, you don't do it in fucking Ironheart. It would have actually helped WandaVision, I think.
An actually good line in Ironheart was when he says, because they thought it was Dormammu, which, not going to get into that.
What?
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, apples and oranges. But Riri calls him Dormammu, and he laughs and goes like, Dormammu, he's not even fit enough to wipe my messes. Which is a bad joke, but which is not the greatest line. But when you think about it, yeah, Mephisto was worse than Dormammu.
Yeah,
so, yeah, him saying
how has to get entry into
how does
that
the world know about Dormammu though in this world? Why does Ironheart know?
I can explain that. Let me explain it.
Because in Doctor Strange, it was reverse time.
Jed, they connected this show to Strange Academy. They connected this show to Strange Academy with this chick right here. The story of Regan Alia's character, Zelma Stanton, and her connection to Doctor Strange and Strange Academy. They have a whole coven of ex-Carmitage black women
Yeah.
who are now
Jed.
there.
Jed, so Zelma here, her mom, who I'm pretty sure is a white chick that just has melanin infused into her skin.
No, I believe it's Cree Summers. It's Cree Summers, who, if you know her way back in the day, was on Different World and has done a lot of voice acting over the years, and is also a lunatic. But no, Cree Summers is black, but she does. I think she's not. But if Dre was here, he would say,
"Look at this half breed."
Oh yeah, she looked like her
Dre.
facial structure is white.
Cree Summers is a half breed, but she is black, but she is a half breed.
Anyways, but she went to Carmartage and then left because she had a little baby on the way. Now they are hinting that there might be connections to somebody strong, just like Doctor Strange in their groups, but logic would say maybe I think it's Dr. Voodoo or whatever, the black guy who took up the mantle of Super Sorcerer Supreme for a while, but that would use logic right there. But
did you just say Dr. Voodoo?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's Dr. Voodoo. I can never remember Brother Voodoo or something like that. That's actually a hero name.
Brother Voodoo is so much more.
He's a black man.
I'm lost. Hang on, our racism meter is rising. We only
That's an actual hero name.
We only
Voodoo.
have Jed here to protect us, and it's not enough.
Brother Voodoo. Brother Hoodoo would have been the best though, but
I'll look it up to make sure
That's
I'm getting
so
the correct
bad.
name, but
Either way, so they did introduce the world of magic into this through this nose ring wearing annoying woman.
Riri doesn't believe in magic, but she knows about Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So we had this, and we mentioned Mephisto, which is even worse because, as we said, Mephisto, you're introducing it on Riri Williams when there were other opportunities. Of course, they didn't do it because, Jack Schaefer didn't even know who Mephisto was when making WandaVision. But they introduced Mephisto, Sacha Baron Cohen, looking just like a hippie. And all you get is the reflection in the spoon.
Yeah.
Of what he really looks like. And it's just,
by the way, if you want to see Brother Voodoo, I have the Wikipedia link right there.
Oh God, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you look at this. I'm gonna keep going. But they totally botch Mephisto. And also, it leads to the next point I want to make here. So Mephisto, the devil
so black
of Marvel. The devil of Marvel. You don't, if you are a hero, I ask you this question. If you're a hero, you don't make a deal with the devil. You don't make a deal because you go to this right here. I focused on this. I don't blame Riri for making that deal with Mephisto one bit. Riri had to witness Natalie's death twice. Lie to my face and say you wouldn't make the deal either to bring a loved one back.
She witnessed Natalie's death the first time because of gang violence, and the second time was because the AI, her suit couldn't handle AI and not her.
Magic and AI, right? It's like the
magic and AI, and it wasn't even her. So no, and no heroes do this. You want to know what would have been smart is actually like a beginning of maybe a character arc, or say that she's not as narcissistic and a twat like they actually call her in the show. They do call her a narcissist and an awful human being that just ruins lives, which was amazing, and I had a clap. Having her turn down the chance to bring back Natalie would have been her not being a narcissist and not being somebody that just cares about herself, because she's giving up something that she really fucking wants, but just turning that down would have been an actual character moment.
An act of a hero. Mm-hmm. And because, as I said to reply to this, heroes don't make deals with the devil. And I don't want to hear somebody say Spider-Man did it. Congratulations for making my point on how it ruins a hero. One more day ruined Spider-Man forever. It has been a broken hero ever since.
There's a reason why barely anyone likes that film, to the best of my knowledge.
No.
That comic book run.
No, Dragon Lady. You're
oh, sorry. I thought you meant the film. I'll shut up.
No, One More Day is 2011, I believe. 2012. Where Michael Brian Bendis decided to, because of his belief that Spider-Man's not allowed to be happy. So what happened is Aunt May dies and Peter's depressed. And after a whole bunch of stupid shit happens, he makes a deal with Mephisto to bring back Aunt May. But at the cost of his life as he knew it, which means He's no longer married to Mary Jane Watson, and all the events connecting to that get wiped out from the timeline and existence of the 616.
There's only one hero that can actually make a deal with Mephisto and make it make sense. That's Doctor Strange. But the thing is, like in the comics,
Ghost Rider.
Well, the Ghost Rider as well.
Yeah.
But like the reason why the Ghost Rider also works is because then he becomes against. He hates Mephisto with a passion.
Yeah, that's an actual storyline there. There's an actual story there. Yeah.
But when it comes to Doctor Strange, the reason it works with Doctor Strange is because in the comics, and I wish they would actually bring this to the MCU, but I know they never will. Doctor Strange has made so many deals with so many different interdimensional beings similar to Mephisto that nobody can actually come and collect that deck. So that's why it works with like Doctor Strange or Ghost Rider, because they're either outsmarting him or they're just filled with rage and hatred.
Or it's a story of trying to break free of the contract you made at a desperation. But for Spider-Man, destroyed his story, and it has been broken ever since. With Superior Spider-Man, where they had Doc Ock possess his body, and everything since then has been broken. So you can't tell me, Spider-Man did it. Yeah, and look what happened. It ruined the character. Has never been fixed.
I've seen people tweeting that they're excited for that moment with Tom Holland and Mephisto, and there is a theory out there that that's why the new movie is called Brand New Day, is it's leading to one more day, just like the Homecoming trilogy. It was all the Home trilogy. Now it's the Day trilogy.
What does Tom Holland Spider-Man have to lose?
Well, he's already lost Mary Jane. Aunt May. So Aunt May, bringing Aunt May back. Same story, just later.
But he hasn't lost any. He hasn't gotten anything. He doesn't have decades of the real Mary Jane or even Gwen Stacy or anybody else or even Felicia. He's got nothing. He's got nothing there going on.
He quite literally
the price would be low, especially with the memory spell.
So fine, go ahead and do one more day in the MCU. It doesn't mean anything. It means shit. So here's the point of this. Real heroes don't do this. For a stand to think that this is what a hero would do shows you how off they are. But let's go back now. So here we go.
You can do something like this at the start of a story as an inciting incident, like with Ghost Rider, and then the whole story is them becoming a hero to undo that damage. This is the resolution of her second appearance.
Thank you, Brad. It was JMS. Thank you, Brad. I think Bendis because of how bad things got with Ultimate Spider-Man. Thank you, Brad, for correcting me on that. It was JMS. JMS Michael Straczynski.
Has he done anything good besides Babylon 5?
No.
Because I don't know of anything.
He wrote some good episodes of the real Ghostbusters cartoon back in the day. That's like 40 years ago. Thank you, Brad, for correcting me on that. I don't know why I said Bendis. Really, it was JMS. Thank you, Brad.
Well, Bendis is usually a correct answer.
Bendis has ruined a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. Bendis has ruined a lot of shit. All right, so
here. Bendis make Riri, or am I forgetting?
And that's why I'm saying it, because Bendis made Riri. That's why Bendis is in my brain. That's why I said Bendis, because Bendis made Riri Williams. That is why. That's why I said Bendis. Thank you. See, pieces coming together. The Ironheart finale is fantastic. It's a rare instance with the Disney Plus shows where I think the finale is the best part of the season. They finally did the thing. What thing?
They finally ended it? Am I agreeing with somebody? They ended it?
I hope it pays off somehow. Who knows how, when, or where with the current MCU schedule. But that was exciting. Now, here is, of course, the Stan shit. They don't know. They don't understand this shit's been sitting on a shelf for 3 years.
No,
it's over.
It's cognitive dissonance. They know it's been sitting there for 3 years. They know that it's garbage, but their brains legitimately are telling them no, that it's good, because they have to say that it's good. So because of the cognitive dissonance, they're making shit up. None of this show made sense. No. Riri is a goddamn villain, and there's no getting around that.
Yeah. And for them to say, I hope what comes next, nothing's coming next, because Ryan Coogler, the executive producer, has no knowledge that they're going forward with it. None at all.
He openly said there's no notes for a season 2.
Exactly.
Granted, that hasn't stopped MCU before.
No, but she's been on the shelf for 3 years, and their attempt to make her relevant right now has been rejected by everybody and laughed at.
They did everything but full-fledged echo this. They wanted to echo this 100%.
But they couldn't because she appeared on screen.
So they could have echoed it.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
They couldn't
Batgirl it. Yeah, they couldn't Batgirl it.
Echoing is single drop, but they understood that if they did that with Echo, and they got like complaints from the Geneva Convention, so they couldn't do that again.
They'd be talking about fridging your women again, all that shit again. That ending for episode 6 had me floored. Riri Williams making that deal with Mephisto to bring Natalie back was insane. I wonder if Death is going to find out about this, talking about Aubrey Plaza's death from Agatha. I mean,
again, you know what? I agree with a lot of the statement. You know,
until the fact that Death doesn't give a shit about Riri Williams.
Yeah, Death doesn't give a shit. And yes, this ending did have me floored because heroes don't do this.
Yeah. Ironheart is pure Marvel magic. The final 3 episodes were some of my favorite things that Marvel TV has done. The action was insane, the performances were incredible, and the big reveal in episode 6 had me shouting with joy. I love this show and hope to see Riri again soon. Mephisto, worst kept secret ever. Everybody knew Sacha Baron Cohen was Mephisto.
Google said it.
It's so, and the big reveal, and love to see a Riri again. These people are locked in their bubble. They have no idea that it's a character that's going nowhere. Go ahead. Take your time.
It's awful.
It is
you know
terrible.
what? I'm gonna say make Asylums great again. Put them all
right here.
Is
this something you see from a hero?
Well, I mean, she did this to a drag queen, and then the drag queen got up and just walked away.
I mean, this is what Deadpool does.
Yeah.
Because he's Deadpool.
And Deadpool's not a hero.
And Deadpool is not a hero. He's an
anti-hero.
Yes.
Back when anti-hero actually meant something. Because that term is overused these days for just a hero who's a little bit more violent. Like, it's not what that term means.
And here's your devil.
Dude,
hey, Sasha, just grow a beard, man. There you go. Come on in, grow a beard.
I'm rewatching Supernatural right now, and I don't know if anybody remembers the way Death came into that show in season 5.
Oh man, at the end of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
music comes in. Oh, Death! That guy bumps into him, and he's just like, and the guy dies. That is strong aura. Just in that one scene alone, you know that you're terrified of this man, that he is something that you cannot understand. He may look human to a certain extent. He is a little weird looking fella, but that is something dangerous and beyond your comprehension. And that was one scene with 0 dialogue. And then when Dean ended up talking to Death in the next episode, that interaction's great.
That special interaction, because Dean's obsession with food is part of that idea that Dino, and he's not even he can't even look at that food because of what Death is talking about there, about how he, and you think for a second they could connect Death saying basically, oh, I love it when I get to come to the upper world because I get to sit down and enjoy some food. And then and the Dean's not even gonna have that conversation because he's freaked out right now because how am I gonna, we have managed to get a ring from each of the other 4 horsemen by ganking them, but we can't gank Death. We can't. So it's like, yeah, you could take it because I don't like the deal I made with Lucifer to begin with. So yeah, I'm going to help you out, but I'm going to collect. I'm going to collect.
But my point is, if you're going to introduce a massive creature like Death or Mephisto and not do their, horrifying devil version like in Mephisto's case, you've got to set up the aura for the character but they did with Death.
But Dermy, they altered Sacha Baron Cohen's voice.
Yeah, they altered his voice, but you go back to Ghost Rider, for example, where when Mephisto does first come in, it's this dude that's walking around who's very imposing. You don't know what's going on. He's just magically there. He's an older dude. You're getting the hints that he is the devil, and he's talking those sweet nothings to you and everything. And he tells you, sign right here and your dad will be saved. And you do it because you believe him, because he's this imposing, menacing force, but
gravitas.
At the same time, you're looking, it's the gravitas of it all. And comparing it to Sacha Baron Cohen, it's night and day. I will say the only good thing that he does, the only good thing that he does is he silences a loud family of black people. That's an actual scene in the show. Chad.
I know. Just the way
he silences an entire family of black people that are too loud. No! This is a Power Ranger suit. I swear to God, if you say that, it's a good fucking suit.
But Jeremy, we're racist because we don't think it's great.
It's a goddamn Power Ranger suit, and it's an eyesore, and she destroyed a beautiful car to make it.
But Derby, there's the proof that she made it with a used car, just like Tony made something in a cave with nothing and scrap.
Well, I mean, yes, Tony made part of the original. Well, not the original. The silver one that ended up becoming
the art. Well, he's talking about the art. You're talking about the prototype for Ironmonger.
Yeah. No, because the prototype for Ironmonger was the Mark I, but then he made another one that was originally like the prototype.
Well,
for his actual
prototype made in the cave, which looks like Ironmonger. That's why I say the prototype.
But the second
we
one,
forget it's not just in a cave with a box of scraps. It's in a cave with a box of scraps with a literal heart injury attached to a car battery that he has to carry around with him.
But that's also why he made the arc reactor in the cave as well, which was a theoretical device.
He revolutionized energy. That's way more important, impressive than making a bodysuit. Because it's a metal bodysuit initially that can fly. That's super impressive, but creating one of the most efficient power sources that humanity's ever dreamt of in a cave with a box of scraps while you're literally dying from shrapnel in your heart, it's no comparison.
And she keeps putting weird shoulder pauldrons on these things.
I don't get it.
It's to make it look like a heart.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Oh,
it's a Power Ranger suit.
That's
It's 100% a Power Ranger suit. That's why in my own review I do the Power Rangers theme.
This guy. I hate this guy. This guy is so stupid. Okay, so I'm going to go watch Ironheart at least 3 times to manifest the second season because I need him to resolve that ending more than anything.
The ending makes no sense, and out of nowhere, the Hood is now becoming more of a good guy. Goes to Zelma and wants magic help.
Yeah, this is the stand behavior. Hey, everybody, go watch it on repeat by yourself so we can create arbitrary artificial viewing numbers to make it look like it's popular. They do that for every single one of these crap shows. We've documented it time and again. These shows these 2 shows ending up being great and rising above the bigotry. Here we go. You don't like this stuff because you're a bigot.
That's all they have. Like, legitimately, if all you have is calling people a bigot, there is no justification to defend this. And when you just go around constantly calling people ists and isms, it's no different than an ad hominem attack, and it proves that there is no defense of the actual show. You're just trying to call everybody that dislikes it for whatever reason, even if they point out like the logical fallacies of it. If they point out how this is not an actual hero's journey, this is a villain's journey, and you just call them an ist or an ism, you're not actually fighting back against what was being said there. You're proving that you have no actual argument.
But Dermy, it's a tragedy.
What tragedy? Yeah, it is a tragedy. It's a tragedy that I spent hours making this stuff.
It's a tragedy, and we have to feel for her because she has to make a
feel for me. I watched this shit, and I made reviews on it.
And then at the very end, I don't have these, but I've seen them. They're all so happy that she got her comic accurate hair at the end.
Oh, that hair is atrocious. What the fuck?
The comic that nobody read, nobody watched. So here it is. I've shown you a wide variety of the stand behavior post Ironheart. They literally live in a world where they think this is great. If you don't like it, you're a racist and a bigot. They think Riri's a hero, and that what they believe her actions are legitimate, like this one, making a deal with the devil. That's what a hero would do. These are not people who are fans of heroes. These are people who are fans of villains, because in their heart of hearts, the things villains do are the things they believe should be done around everywhere to achieve their agenda. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So there it is. And it's over. It's done. We just mentioned a couple minutes ago, Ryan Coogler, he has no clue what's going on. I don't think he wants anything to do with this anymore. And I would be surprised if she shows up in Doomsday. I would be surprised because
I wouldn't.
Just because this has lost them so much money just now.
If she shows up in Doomsday, what I will say, if she does show up, they're not going to address the fact that she has a deal with the devil, and every time she interacts with Natalie, she's becoming more and more corrupted. They're not going to address that at all. They're not going to deal with that. Like, if she touches Natalie, she gets hurt. and she's becoming corrupted.
They showed the thing on her arm, and when she touched her in the hug,
but no, that thing on the arm is the effects
corruption.
of Mephisto. That's the corruption of Mephisto trying to take over.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not gonna touch.
Wait, is she becoming a demon?
Yeah. So she becomes more of a host for Mephisto as she starts to basically be corrupted more and more, influenced and made the decisions essentially by Mephisto.
That's the deal?
The deal ends up becoming I take your body, your soul, and everything like that. But in order to do that is you have to interact with the object that he gives you. So like when it came to the hood, it was, hey, every time you use the hood, you're going to get these scars. And the more of these scars is the more of my influence upon you. And you start becoming more and more of a demonic presence and stuff because the hood goes full demon mode. But now every time Riri interacts with Natalie, that's going to be the same thing that happens.
That's ridiculous.
That's so bad.
That's why they did the whole shot of like that thing coming across the arm.
Yeah.
When she was hugging her, because that's every time she hugs her, this is gonna happen. Every time she interacts with her, this is gonna happen. Well, you fucked yourself.
This show is a disaster, and we are now. It's the lead into Baby Steps. It's the lead into Baby Steps, and it has nothing to do with Baby Steps, but it leads to my overall equation that I've been harping on for months now: MCU exhaustion, lack of enthusiasm. There is no true MCU hype to lead into Baby Steps. It's just, this is it. Now you got to wait 3 weeks, and then you'll have Baby Steps, and we'll get to that as we get closer. But Ironheart stands are retarded, failure of show, but they live in an alternate reality. All right, we got one more topic to talk about here, and
I keep forgetting that Baby Steps is on the way. I keep forgetting.
Oh, it's on the way. I can't wait. It's how we're going to end the month. But before that, though, we do have one more thing to talk about. And once again, it's a good thing Dermy's here for this, because Dermy is a member of our TARDIS crew on Doctor Who Cares Reviews.
Hey, I prefer the term retard. Thank you very much.
Our TARDIS is not the retardis. We don't have the.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me personally.
No, you're part. You're a part of the crew. You're fine. I let you on board. It's fine. You're our K9. How about that?
That works.
Okay. But we have a little bit of Doctor Who news. Just when you think it can't get worse in terms of how bad RTD screwed up, here we go. Somebody cornered him in an interview this week and got him to admit he had no idea whether Billy Piper is the Doctor after that whole regeneration scene.
Wait.
This makes me feel like he filmed his season, whatever, did his thing, and then they decided to do the last minute reshoots and add Billy Piper, and he wasn't involved in that. That's what this screams of, is that somebody else was making this last minute crazy decision that he wasn't involved in. I don't know if that's true, but you've got to believe that you can't be involved in making this scene and not have any idea what it means.
Well, but Jed, go back to your original thought process of that whole entire season being completely that episode being completely recreated, reshot, and it was probably all last minute. That might have been BBC coming down here, say, hey, we need to try to at least, end this and then get some sort of interest in this. And he just threw it together and didn't know. Just legitimately didn't know. But if you don't know, then what's the answer? You're the showrunner.
If anybody knows, you are the one person who should know first.
And to answer the question by Belinda Scandal on your Manchester regarding what role Billy Piper is playing the 15th Doctor's generation, RTD couldn't be pressed to give details on attentions. I have no idea. He said while shrugging and refusing to elaborate.
He has no idea.
No idea. R.I.P. Doctor Who. It is dead.
So
it is done.
Now there are ways that this reveal or like the not knowing where it's going to go could be played well. Like if we saw footage of it and he said, oh, who knows what Billy Piper is going to be? Who knows what's going to happen next? Ooh, like if it had been something like that, you could believe, okay, he's playing coy to drum up interest. That makes sense. But just saying, I have no idea that.
Yeah.
Any chance that this was just a throwaway comment and kind of funny playing coy is gone.
Well, I watching a lot of RTD's things, you can see him go like, well, I have no idea. I feel like this is him trying to say, listen, if we don't get us next season, you'll never know if she's the Doctor or not. We need that next season, guys. Give us that next season. Come on, we can show you if she's Doctor.
By saying shrugging, that's like a dismissive thing.
Yeah. Well, it really depends on. I need to see the action and.
Well, I don't think it wasn't filmed. He was obviously just like cornered and asked this. But
I would need to see, because shrugging could be like, I don't know.
But this whole thing screams of the lack of a plan. But Jed asked me this earlier. He said, he asked me this earlier. Did RTD have a plan for his Final Season Doctor 2? Apparently he did. RTD wanted to move away from very straight, masculine, and testosterone-y sci-fi.
Well, and the fans moved away from Doctor Who.
In the same interview, I think it was just like nudging by 1%. In that direction to the LGBT side this time around. But it's 2025, and you have to look at it, what the others are doing, since fiction franchises are very straight, very masculine, very testosterone-y, and so that's where Doctor Who can fill a space by being super gay.
Well, I mean, you're not the one that did that, RTD. I get that that's what you wanted to do, but you didn't do that to the Doctor. That was all Jim Balls that did that. You just further pushed it.
He just quadrupled down on it and said, "Hell, here, hold my beer. I'm gonna cast this."
You think this gay man drinks a beer? He said, "Hold my Cosmo."
I'll show you guys, gay. Here's the man I just had sex with.
And that's true. He walked him out on the red carpet at the Baptist and said, "Here he is.
Here's my new twink boyfriend."
Exactly. This man right here, this gay Rwandan, was your Doctor. So
Still
he
trying
did
to figure
have
out
a
who was
plan.
the top and who was the bottom in that relationship.
She's the top. She's totally
no.
the top.
I was talking about between RTD and Shooty.
Okay. I mean, she'll happily strap on him because.
Well, yeah, abs. And
No, she doesn't need to. She's got the nose.
Oh, boy, it is. So for him to outright say our plan was to make this as gay as possible proves he didn't care about telling a real Doctor Who story anymore. He cared about pushing his warped, radical alphabet mafia agenda onto people so that he could make it his now and ruin it forever out of some weird hatred of something that he helped rescue 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago, right now. It's sad. But you know what's not surprising at this? I don't know if you guys saw this. I spotted this last night. Doctor Who is officially leaving HBO Max on July 1st. Huge Doctor Who library now up for streaming grabs.
This makes me very happy. I have it all on physical media. At least New Who.
Well, what I'm saying, though, is that I don't think there's a bidding war out there for this.
There might be a bidding war because what HBO has right now is from everything with Eccleston.
It's through Jodie. They don't have any Shooty, but it's through Jodie.
That would find Classic Who on Tubi and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So this would actually be something that I could see Disney trying to do a bidding war for because they have Shooty.
But I'm saying, what bidding war? No one's going to bid for this.
If they decided to renew for season 3, Disney did, I could see them trying to get all this just to put it all together. But HBO Max, it does well for them. People, watch it on HBO Max. I watched it a lot on HBO Max. The problem is, though, they market it all on their site with Jodie Who. They don't know any better, so it could be a lot better. So I could see some people being willing to take it off their hands, but not in any sort of bidding war way. Just like, hey, do you have an offer for it, or do you want us to make an offer? Sure, I'll throw something your way.
If somebody takes it, they're just going to take it with nobody contesting.
I still think that there will potentially be a bidding war just because, yes, you have Jodie Whittaker there. Jodie Whittaker really puts down the value of that, but you also have all the other stuff, like all the really, really, really good New Who stuff is all wrapped up in there. I could see a bunch of people actually trying to fight for that one just because Eccleston.
I don't know if the corporate people know know enough, know better to know what they want.
They might just look at the numbers of the past 5 years and say, "Wow, there's no."
That's what I
ratings
mean. Like, if there was a real fan of one of these studios who could have some influence, I could see someone trying to get up through Capaldi. But yeah, I don't know how many corporate people who make these decisions will look past the recent streaming numbers to make a decision.
That might be fair.
Yeah, and I don't think Disney has the money to take it.
Well, like, even if we're gonna be fair, like, it would make most sense that Disney takes it. I don't think they.
That would make sense. Yeah,
keep it all together.
I don't think they want it. I don't think they want to have anything to do with this because I don't remember if it was you, Jed, or if I was listening to it from like Gary. I think the big reason they got involved with Doctor Who in the beginning was for their back catalog, but because their back catalog is just thrown about through so many different back channels and stuff, they couldn't get the back catalog correctly. So they got a new catalog.
Disney thought they were buying the back catalog. They accidentally funded the new season. That would be hilarious.
And think about it like this: this isn't part of Shooty Who right here, because Disney owns Shooty Who because they sink money into it. So if you're ever going to air Shooty Who, you have to work out a licensing deal with Disney because that's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, those would be separate deals, and I don't know how many streaming services would want the hassle of that.
Yeah. And when we say Shooty Who, we mean everything from the 60th forward. So
I hope it goes back to Netflix, honestly. I know we have strong opinions on Netflix, especially with the original stuff, but Netflix is partially responsible for Doctor Who becoming the worldwide juggernaut that it was during the Matt Smith era, because it became readily available to people outside the UK and opened it up to a whole new audience, making it a massive contender at Comic-Cons for years. Like, Doctor Who had a strong presence at Comic-Cons a decade and a half ago because of Netflix. So I think that would be the best home for it, because it helped make it into what it was for a long time.
That might be a good idea.
During that period of time, I was watching it on Sci-Fi Channel where it would premiere. That's where I watched it when it was new at the time.
No, I mean, it didn't air live there or anything, but the catalog was there.
Yeah. But so all three of these stories together shows you the state of Doctor Who. The man who was just responsible for its latest disaster has no idea what he created in the end there, has no idea where it's going. His whole plan was to just distance itself from its act, make it gay, and not have the original audience like it. And right now, where is the new Who catalog going to drop? Where's the ownership going to land? Because HBO Max didn't renew it. And that's a big deal.
Disney or Netflix. I completely forgot about Netflix originally having it. That's where I first watched.
Netflix had it. Amazon Prime had it when I first started watching the show, and then it came to HBO Max after it was kind of gone for a couple months there, or a year there in between Prime and HBO Max. But it's been shopped around to all the majors at this point.
You know what would be a smart thing is whoever buys it and decides to buy it just does not go to Disney and say, we don't want the rest of this shit.
That would be smart.
And just take off the Jodie stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just take off. You can keep the Jodie part. Can we get a cheaper deal if you just keep Jodie? We just want everything.
We want the 10-season deal.
Yeah, we like that. Doctor Who, RIP Doctor Who. We'll get you guys the Nerdgasm soon. Just give us a little more time. We'll put it together. We'll get it to you guys. With that though, we're done. Another day over. Another afternoon completed. Let's go on the horn, share our stuff, and I might go take a nap. Jed, what's your week look like?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar, just regularly scheduled live streams with Saturday Night Drive-In this week, which Adam will talk more about. Yes. I don't even know what we're watching yet.
I know. I decided it was an easy reach, but I decided.
Red Coat.
Oh, shut up.
It's a fun movie, Jeremy. I love watching that movie, but it has flaws.
Red coats, but they're red coats.
I'm gonna hurry up and pitch your wares so I can get you out of here.
Oh, okay, it's my turn. Hi, I'm Jeremy Wormy of Jeremy Wormy, as you all freaking know me by now. You can go check out my channel. Of course, I have my Ironheart reviews and stuff like that up. I still need to put together my Jurassic World review. I might have to re-record it again because I don't like how it's coming out right now. So it won't be that bad, but that should be up probably tomorrow. Then, of course, this week's Superman week. So that hopefully
that's our week
out by Friday.
That's our week. Our week is Superman this week. That's it.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting week, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. But I might stream again later tonight some more Red Dead Redemption 2 because I love Red Dead 2.
It's such a good game.
I love Red Dead, period. both of them are wonderful.
It's some
I've
announcements.
tried to get into the first one. I couldn't do it.
The first one is really it's a slow burn, but it keeps building up. And
I saw some announcements for Red Dead Online last week.
There was a update
to
to Red Dead Online here recently, and they added in some new content finally for the first time in ever.
Yeah, they need to fix the hackers. When I played it a little bit with Fear of the Beardo, the hacker situation was unbearable. We couldn't play it. It was the hacking was so bad. So hopefully they fix that. But yeah, Red Dead 3 I think is the next game after GTA 6 for them. Once that comes out, we might get
the creators of the people that did Red Dead are no longer there. So,
well, it might not be the original people. It might not be good, but the Red Dead 2 made them so much money that they're gonna make a sequel at some point.
Yeah, they have to.
It just shouldn't take 10 years to do it. All right, Dragon Lady.
We'll be 60 by the time it comes out. Well, I wish. Adam,
shut up! Don't say it. Dragon Lady, what you got?
Should be simming at some point or other. I think that's about it, really.
All right. As for me, I want to do a gaming stream tonight, play some more Lunar, but I have to do real world shit tomorrow morning. I gotta get up at real person hours tomorrow morning. So I'm kind of questioning whether or not I might just take the night off and just try and go to sleep at a reasonable hour so I'm not a zombie tomorrow, because tomorrow week begins Daily Dive, 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, where you, the audience, are in charge. Going to have fun with that. It's going to be a busy week. I know it's going to be. Then let's see. There is no Mellow Mondays tomorrow night because we are recording our Wormhole Watch episode tomorrow night. So I'll push that off. All the guys know they're going to go do their own things. So you can expect that up on Brad's channel, Duke Devil 95, on Wednesday, the edited version, with a special guest, but that is Brad's to announce, not mine. Other than that, rest of the week, gaming, Superman review coming, and of course, Ballbusters, where there will be much gnashing of teeth and yelling about probably that topic this Friday. And then, of course, Saturday Night Drive-In. I went for an easy layup this week, Jed. I didn't want to think very hard. We have a list of things that we have to rewatch for Drive-In from the previous incarnation. And I figured, you know what? We've done some pretty serious discussion movies the past couple of weeks. Let's have something nice and easy, yet awesome.
Oh, God.
Wrath of Khan!
Oh, fuck yes.
Wrath of Khan!
We're skipping the motion picture?
Yeah, I don't need ship porn. I don't need ship. We skip motion picture.
Thank you. Yeah, it's okay to skip motion picture.
You don't
need.
It's
a good movie, but we don't need it. We don't need it. It's fine.
I'm about to finish my rewatch of the original series, so it'd be fucking perfect. I'll watch the motion picture on my own. The Khan episode is so fucking good.
Oh, Space Seed is great. Space Seed is fantastic. And we'll talk about it this weekend. So we're gonna be Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan. Still the best Star Trek movie. Still the best.
Yeah.
Still number one. No, it's still number one. So we do Wrath of Khan, and then we'll probably do more gaming next Saturday, and then of course we'll be right back here next week, 2 p.m.
I was going to do a Star Trek joke there and say that the one that J.J. Abrams made with Khan was better, but I couldn't remember the name of the movie.
Into Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
just to bother you, Adam, but I failed.
It's J.J. Trek. Can't bother.
It's awful.
I know it's awful, but I was trying to make a joke. And
anyway,
this is controversial. Star Trek Beyond is the best of the reboot trilogy.
I never even watched. I only saw the first. I didn't even watch the other two.
Into Darkness is an abomination.
Yeah, I know it is. Anyway, so we'll be back next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, with our discussions of Superman, James Gunn's Superman. So stay tuned for that, guys. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you later. Until then, take it easy, everybody.